Oh yes, legends, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing absolutely phenomenal. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin all together. Hope you're doing absolutely great, guys. Today we'll be analyzing the situation. What a pump and dump we did get. Okay, continue the range, and this is what we got. Okay, we are going to be analyzing the situation here and getting some setups ready. Okay, today is the long live stream. We got New York open in 20 minutes. We'll be getting a few scenarios, trading ideas, analyzing the higher time frame here for the price of Bitcoin, talking about this massive range, guys, which is still in the range. We got the pump here early this morning or late last night. Dumped back down. No direction, guys. There's no direction. We actually have a pretty massive range here. Well, it's not massive, but it's a massive in time, over 2 weeks now in this range. And, you know, I've got things clear for my new setups. I'm not sure if you do, but I do. And I'm going to talk about them. Risk management, analyzing the situation here, and talk about the different Elliott wave scenarios, the massive levels of resistance support, taking into consideration liquidity, and just go with the flow, guys. Go with the range till it actually breaks, because it's been quite trappy. Of course, range traders are very, very happy in this range. Okay, they're very, very happy. And whoever got into a long, I know there was a lot of people yesterday on the stream. We did a Sunday update yesterday explaining this, guys. This is your classic ascending wedge, fake bear flag, whatever you want to call it. We were very much aware of this situation, guys. I'm not interested in the short. We did get a little leg to the downside, so maybe some people managed to scratch some quick profits here. But this was a classic trap, guys. This ain't no bear flag or ain't no ascending wedge or any of that nonsense, guys. We were very much aware of the price moving to the highs here, based on the information that we had from this movement to the downside, extending the weekend move up. You might think staircase up, elevator down. We were not in favor of this scenario. If we would have got that movement down, it would have been nice to look for longs. If we would have got the movement up to these highs, then eventually shorts were interested. Okay, this was actually a three-wave structure in the end, so it's packed of three-wave structures in this zone, which is making it complex, but we're definitely coming to an end stage very, very soon. We are going to move out, but of course with the holidays and, you know, New Year Eve coming very, very soon in the coming days, just really range bound, right? What is happening here in this zone. So hopefully, I got a lot of people in the comment section on yesterday's stream. Well, a lot of people. There was a couple already looking for the shorts here. To basically, my projection, I mean, this was a move of not even $1,000, right? Not even $700. So, you know, stay cautious, guys, right? That ascending wedge here was clearly not the scenario. You need to identify what is going on the previous wave to realize that this ain't your classic bear flag to break down, okay? Or ascending wedge. Eventually, surprise, massive short squeeze eventually because of the classic bear flag, guys. Very much aware there was a couple of bullish scenarios here to take into consideration to get that leg to the upside. So we'll be discussing what's next, major levels of interest. Whoever catched a short position, SFP over the highs, or, you know, literally shorting later on signs of weakness, congrats. You know, nice leg to the downside to sweep up the higher lows of the weekend. And it's time to analyze what is next, right? Obviously interested in longs, guys. I am interested in longs up here, interesting in shorts, right? Well, that's what we want to do in a range. You want to look for shorts and longs, okay, at specific, you know, highs and lows. Not becoming bearish here, not becoming bearish here, not becoming bearish here. Getting a plan ready to look for that potential reversal. And we're going to explain a little bit on how the price action could develop here throughout the next coming hours and also the next 1 to 2 days. All right. Quick hello to the beautiful community. Stay tuned, guys. This is going to be a long one. It is long live streams, getting some trading setups ready. We just got the leg down. We are holding right now with this volatility. The move down has waited, is getting supported. We got New York Open, so let's see how New York Open develops into possibly one of our levels or one of our scenarios of interest. And we'll move forward here. We are looking for intraday setups. Okay, for the moment, we need to be basically be happy with a movement of $1,000 to $2,000. We can't expect $5,000 to $10,000 moves on Bitcoin in this big range of the last 2 weeks. So we need a trade $1,000 to $2,000. If we maybe a $3,000 move, all right. But we ain't looking for big moves as of yet. We can get ready for them. This is why we're doing the live stream. But we just need to basically look for intraday setups, right? Imagine all of those people that are looking for swing trade setups here for shorts and longs. You're literally not making anything, right? I'm just going to hold this long or I'm going to hold this short. This is to scratch some dollars off the market, guys. This is what we need to do here in this range as we do have it. Okay, if you have the range, trade the range. First of all, guys, before we go through the comment section, quick disclaimer here. This content is for educational purpose only and is not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. Quick go through the comment section. We got a big one today. I've even got Ethereum here. There's a few levels and a few scenarios, but there's a lot to talk about on Bitcoin on higher time frame, discussing the probabilities of is this impulse? Is this an impulse? Do we get continuation here to the downside? I can tell you that is low probability from the information we've got here from the last few weeks here, part of November and December. Doesn't look like it wants to break down successfully, okay? Successfully means like really nuke down from this zone. So a wider range has higher probability, which is going to be very trappy. It's going to wick lows, wick highs. It's going to confuse the people and get people absolutely bored, all right? And maybe wreck some people unless you know how to catch these positions. The market is here to trick you, and we are here to learn those tricks and be ready to execute the tricks that are behind the chart, okay? So yeah, we got higher time frame, lower time frame. We're going to really go from higher time frame to lower time frame. We do have New York Open. There's no big major levels that I have here locally for New York Open. I have to say this does look pretty much like an impulsive move to the downside. It does look more of an impulsive wave to the downside, and I would like to see a movement down. Maybe not today, but later on in the next couple of days. So the bounce is going to be a very interesting one, guys. I'm actually more interested in shorting the bounce here, depending on how it bounces. Down here, you want to look for intraday long positions. This is no zone to look for shorts, guys, for without a doubt. So low. So a relief rally is very much kind of what I would want to see, okay? Regardless if the wave 4 is still developing, this is something that could be very interesting. If this bounce does come back to claim the lows, looking for longs, guys. If we do get New York Open with a bit more bearishness, wick the lows, we got some levels, we got some scenarios, looking for a bounce here without a doubt if we were to claim the lows again. And if we bounce to certain levels of resistance, we can talk about that possible lower high to then claim the lows. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit of the plan here on the stream, looking at the lower time frame. And yeah, let's just quickly go through the community, through the comment section here. Good morning, Andy. First student arrived early as usual. Much love. Sug9082. Hello, sir. I am a big fan of yours. Chiran, much love to you. Grabbing a coffee and a cig. Chart turns bearish, not getting it in yet, waiting the low to be taken. Absolutely. Very good. Waiting patiently. Waiting for your live, sir. Absolutely awesome. I am here. What's up? All that action over the last 8 hour or so hours was pretty nuts. It was. Quick pump and dump, but what can we expect here in this range, right? It's just very much rangy, taking out the recent lower highs, almost these higher lows. So we got a few things that are looking quite interesting, guys. Okay, there is a few things that are looking pretty interesting. Okay, so bear with me here in today's live stream. Much love, Path Maria Vallejos. Much love to you, Alex. I was up when it hit 90k. I was waiting for the 90.5k to make a short. Never hit on bluffing. I know we you know, this was not an easy short position, I have to say, right? You're kind of in the middle here of these two major pivots. All right, two major pivots. Not interesting zone here. As you got this pullback, you know, when you consider this being either a diagonal in a wave 1, your wave 2, a wave 3, your wave 4 should not overlap the golden pocket. Once you hit the golden pocket from the last higher low, sorry, to the high, obviously this is really coming down here very aggressively. It's not a great zone to start thinking of shorts. You want to start thinking about the liquidity grabs here of these highs. Not easy short, I have to say, not an easy short. I'm in no trades, but I am happy to get into a new trade today with you, legends. I've got the exchange here ready. No trades open at the moment. I had a few trades, but as we're ranging, we need to take profit, guys, right? It's like short, long, short, long. I didn't manage to long down here, and I didn't manage to catch this short. This was very early this morning for me. So anyway, it would have been a difficult short. Probably wouldn't have got into a short here. Maybe yes if I felt aggressive. But anyway, we got the chart ready here to potentially look for a setup on the stream, guys. Okay, so bear with me here. Stay tuned. Staffer1, much love to you. How are you today, Andy? I'm doing great, my man. Done my workout, eating healthy, sunshine, and yeah, feeling great. Slap the like button, people. Much love to you, Staffer. Much love to everybody here on the stream. Missed that short at 90k. Miss it too. Waits for a SFP of 90.5. A lot of people waiting for that 90.5 for the SFP. Hello, Mohammed. Much love to you, Botmation. Hi, all. Amazing shirt. Amazing short. Hope everyone knew about that fake pump. Very much still rangy, guys. Hello, Andy. We need to break 90.5, then correction before looking for buy with the big boys. Right now, we are in the seller's zone. Absolutely. Hello, Andy. Saludos desde Colombia, crack. Clan Bursatil, much love to you. Absolutely amazing. Hi, Andy. Have a good session. Thank you, my man. Much love to you. Whenever I receive Bitcoin, I can expect it to crash immediately after. Polkadot looks like a very healthy risk to reward, trading at 183. Yeah, we are not doing altcoins very much. I got Ethereum for later on. I caught the short at 90k. I'm closing it soon. Make sure to collect those profits. Path Maria Vallejos. We have that potential right now as the range. Come on, you know, these lows of the last week need to be swept already, right? And that's when it's going to become very interesting eventually to look for the possible longs. I'm going to explain the higher time frame. We'll zoom in on the lower time frame. We've still got 8 minutes to New York Open, and I just want to break down that I believe, based on the analysis, that a successful breakdown is not going to happen throughout the next coming days. Okay, the probabilities are lower. And why, you may ask, the probabilities are low to come down to basically 80k region, right, or even below. And what we are looking at is for this range to continue down and up, right? A few $1,000s, no big major moves of plus $5,000 for me are expected. They're not expected based on the probabilities of the information that we have from the range of the last few weeks. Basically, you might think it's a bunch of BS, but already last week we were saying, guys, we're not expecting a major move up or a major move down. Continue the range is what is expected, and this was very much expected since last week. So still in favor of that scenario. Okay, of course, ideally at this point, what I would like to see, my favorite scenario still stands for the triangle. The triangle still stands as my favorite scenario. We were just a few $100s in invalidating the D wave here with this pump that we had yesterday, but it did hold nicely and we formed a lower high still. So can we see the E wave finish in the next coming days without taking out? This is my favorite scenario as it stands, guys. We will explain the other scenarios. So it would be nice. Anybody that's been shorting, of course. I mean, I shorted throughout the last, week or so. However, I had to take profits at the lows, right? If we are waiting for this low or this low, we might not get it. And if we do eventually, and I'm interested in the longs eventually down here at this area. But, whoever's been longing or shorting here for the last 2 weeks, you either take a couple of longs and a couple of shorts and take profits right at the lows and at the highs if you're long, because there's no swing long to be taken. So at this point, I want the lows to be swept here below 86.4, which is the lows of last week. That's the ideal scenario, and it makes sense for that to happen. Will it happen throughout the next coming hours? I would actually prefer a bounce, a little bounce in this zone, and then sweep up the lows. So the bounce could be interesting for shorts. We're going to discuss that, and you might think, well, hey, what are we looking at here? Basically, are we looking for, if this is the D wave of the triangle, right, where we do have this triangle, very, very nice indeed. We've got the A wave, B wave running triangle. The B wave takes out the A wave start, C, D, and now what we want is a 3-wave move to the downside. Hopefully, this is an impulse to the downside, and we get a little wave 4 in the horizon here between, the next coming hours. I wouldn't say tomorrow because that would extend it too long, but get a shallow wave 4 and then the wave 5 that sweeps up the low. I'll explain this in detail in the lower time frame, but that's literally what would be nice at this point. And you may ask why. Well, the waves inside of a triangle need to be developed by 3-wave structures. And of course, we ain't going to go through all of the waves, but the waves are developed by 3-wave structures. If this is the lower high that we have, our last lower high right from the triangle, what would be nice to see is this movement down as the impulsive move, a complex WXY structure, or it's kind of a bit of a zigzag here, and then this movement down being the impulse, the last move down, so we can actually see here a 3-wave move to the downside. It would be ideal to sweep up those lows. That's the moment that I think that the price could literally get that bounce back above $90,000. This is a very realistic swing trade setup that could be on the horizon here in the next 1 to 2 days, maybe, if we sweep those lows. So the trading idea here on this higher time frame is going to be looking like something like this. Okay, sweep those lows. Stop loss is literally the low here. There's no more to it. For all of those people maybe is watching very carefully, and they will have a much tighter stop loss depending on their entry and a much better risk to reward. But if you want to play the game of going to give it a shot as soon as I sweep the lows of the weekend, then your invalidation is that pivot low without a doubt. Okay, if this triangle is the one that is going to be the one that's developing, this is my favorite scenario. If this is the one that's going to play out after forming the E wave, which you need 5 waves, okay, inside of the triangle, which is why we're looking for those lows to be swept. That's like the ideal last move down eventually to get the bounce. It's a plan, guys, right? It's all about planning the structure and the scenarios here. Then there's a few ways on how the price could develop, right? You got your wave W, zigzag up, a long, boring triangle here. In your wave X, we're looking for the last leg here. Hopefully we do get that in the next coming hours. We'll see. Yeah, it just would be nice to see that movement down, of course, to sweep up the lows. That's the overall swing long trade setup. Just because we can get a move of $5,000 here in the next coming days, it's a very, very possible scenario, right? Clear invalidation, clear risk management, right? 3-to-1 risk to reward, that's good enough. That could take a couple of days to develop. There are a few ways, if this is the triangle that is getting developed in the wave X, there's a few ways how wave Y could develop here. One of them is straight up power zigzag to the upsides to get above 95k. I know it sounds unreal. People are going to be like, screw this guy, you know, chart is bearish and we're rolling down. You know, it's one of the scenarios that could definitely happen. All right, the most aggressive one, of course. The first leg up is taking out $90,000 plus, regardless if we do get a zigzag move to the upside in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, this could take 1 to 2 weeks to develop. This is the 1 hourly time frame, right? So it could take quite a bit. And the other scenario is a flat where you do still take out the highs of $90,000, all right? But then the price moves down, takes out the higher low here and potentially this low, and then the price comes right back up here to get this high over here and maybe extend. It might be an expanding flat as well with the possibility of taking out 95k. You can see we don't know exactly which one's going to play out here, but the projection is the same for the zigzag or the flat. First target is 90k plus. That is the target, first target zone, which is obviously the aggressive TP zone, more than 50% eventually at that zone to take profit. So it's like, well, you know, if you are a chart analyst and, you know, you're looking at different Elliott wave scenarios and projections based on the information, you know, which one's going to play out? We don't know which one's going to play out later on here for the wave Y, but both of the scenarios take out 90k, very, very likely take 90k. Of course, that flat could maybe not take out 90k, but it's very, very likely to take it because we have lots of liquidity there. We've attempted to take out these highs at 90.5 for over 2 weeks at this point, where we have that fair value gap. We've been talking about this since last week, right? There is just such a good level right there. At 91, 92k, it is the value area high of this entire trading range as well, okay? And it's just such a good zone to basically claim. We do have the liquidity, we've got the data right there above 90, 91k, where we have that massive amount of liquidity. That liquidity, we are looking to claim that liquidity before getting a breakdown to 70k, let's say, right? So it's becoming very, very lucrative to understand when to get into that trade and where to get into that trade, right? Well, the obvious answer to that, getting a little pump here on New York Open with a pump here for Bitcoin. So we're going to be talking about right now here how high we can go. A bounce is very much expected in this area. So we'll discuss that in the next couple of minutes. I don't think there's a quick trade here. We'll go through the lower time frame in just a second. So literally, that's the, you know, this is one of the scenarios on the higher time frame. I know it's boring, guys, but this gives you a possible projection, okay, for a swing trade, right? Getting a large move, and we are interested in large moves eventually. So a sweep up the lows here at 86.4k, 86.4k to 85k zone is going to be very, very interesting. It is the value area low of the range of the last month. We're talking about mid-November even, right? This is a very, very large range. And value area low is sitting down at 85.6k. We also have a daily level down there. It's just a good area, which would be nice, right? To actually come down below 86.3k and really look for that relief bounce that could take out 90k again. So yeah, higher time frame is the zone of interest. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it that it's the zone of interest. Most importantly, we need to figure out what is going on with this drop. Okay, what is going on with this drop? Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Yeah. Yesterday we were talking about the dangers of treating this momentum of the weekend as a bear flag. And guys, this ain't no bear flag. That you know, this is not your regular bear flag wedgie structure. Okay, to come down and claim the low, right? If it does, I'm interested in longs, but I'm not interested in shorting this ascending wedge, right? It was very clear yesterday. It could break down, yes, but I'm not shorting. I'm interested in longing from the lows, which we do not get, or interested in shorting at the highs. Well, you know. So hopefully some people did manage to execute a short trade in this region, either SFP or failed auction or whatever. But, you know, that was the area of interest to look for the leg down. So getting a bit of a squeezy bounce here, which is looking quite interesting. We're gonna focus here on the lower time frame right now. We're gonna focus here on the very, very low time frame, 5-minute time frame here. Preferably here. Yeah, I'm gonna treat this as a possible wave for developing here. Okay, so if the price does manage right, this is the same as yesterday, guys. Okay, you realize same as yesterday and same as the last few days, even since Friday, you got a 3-wave down here, long bounce. This was extending too much. We're not looking for a wave 4 and a wave 5. 3-wave structure in the end to the upside. For me, I would like to say that this is still a 3-wave move down. And we could be developing the 4th wave. So most importantly here, let's see. What I'm more interested here is trading the 5th wave. Long in the 5th wave, basically, right? So we could get a quick nasty SFP from this lower high on the 5-minute. That could be an internal scalp. You got a big, massive, yeah, a bit of a fair value gap here. I would keep stop at golden pocket. We could look for an internal move here. Price is pumping here. I want to check the S&P 500 on the bounce legends. And yeah, we can look for yeah, nice movement up here on the stock market open. Back testing the previous, oh, hang on a minute, that's not the all-time high. Yeah, getting a little bit of a bounce here on the stock market. Let's see Bitcoin, if it does stretch its legs here. It could be an interesting quick little entry scalp short. I think it's kind of acceptable. If the price hits the golden pocket, we have an issue here of the range really extending. I would like to see this as a 3-wave corrective structure and take the lows finally and look at this as a 5-wave move to the downside. I'm kind of a little bit in favor of that scenario. Would be nice to hit the 50% Fibonacci. We just missed it by a few dollars. Missed it by a few dollars here, unfortunately. Let's see if we do stretch our legs to get to that lower high right there. I do think it's an acceptable SFP right there. We already have a 3-wave developed. Okay, so there is a 3-wave developed. It would be nice for a big rejection here, and then obviously claim the lows in a 5-wave structure. Would be nice to get that SFP of that lower high right there. Would be ideal, really, for the entry. So let's see. Yeah, let's see if we do stretch our legs a little bit more and we get into that SFP of this high to come back down. Let's see where the VWAP is. Oof, VWAP is coming into the golden pocket almost from this lower high if we're considering a wave 4 here. Yeah, ideally we don't reach that VWAP. Yeah, acceptable entry here. I'm going to get the stuff ready here for that possible SFP. Let's see if we do stretch our legs a little bit more. That's the ideal sweet spot at the 50% Fibonacci. Let's take a look at CVD here. Big bearish CVDs. Not claiming this low here. Yeah, so let's see if we do squeeze up here to that pivot. I think it's going to be an acceptable day trade short position, with invalidation being the golden pocket or the highs if we do SFP. So for me, it's going to be important that we do swing failure pattern from that level. Would be remaining a little bit patient. If we break through this level, I'm not going to execute the trade if I do not get an SFP. So if we do trade above that 50% Fibonacci at 88.2, not taking the short if the price extends and the VWAP is sitting where the golden pocket is from this lower high, which is going to be, I think the VWAP is an acceptable level also to consider that short. So there's going to be two major pivots here for the reversal. It's either going to be this one or this one. So let's see if we do get that quick scalp here on stream. Would be nice to just hit those lower highs. Price is stopping at the moment here ever so slightly. Would be nice for that SFP just for a good entry and better risk management. So that's what we're looking at here very locally. Guys, remember, exchanges are down below, okay? Bluffing is still with this campaign, okay? $1,000 bonus for anyone that deposits $7,000. You get $1,000 on top of that, $5,000. If you deposit $5,000, you get $750. And I got a very special announcement to do for the 31st, okay? On New Year's Eve, we'll be doing a live stream early on, of course. And special announcement for the people that sign up with the link down below. It's a product that I've been working on for many months right now. It's going to be launched in New Year, basically, in January of 2026. And it all has to do with the people that sign up as well with the affiliate link down below. And whoever does so is going to get an extra bonus, okay? So make sure to do so. I'll be leaving the Telegram in the next coming days down below, because we've got a masterpiece product that is getting launched, okay, in 2026 that you do not want to miss, okay, for all of those people that sign up with the link down below. And of course, I will leave the Telegram down below, so you can contact me in the next coming days and we'll sort you out, okay, with the new product that is getting launched. And it all has to do with setups and trading setups, okay? That's the most important. That's what people want. Education is great, but people want setups. And I do know that because I've actually spoken to people about the setups. Most people want setups. You know, education is great, okay? This guy is a full-on bear using a theory. Hey, calm down, man. What's all of this? Much love to everybody, okay? What's wrong with you? Calm down, okay? End of year tax, loss selling, maybe. The most bearish scenario is 77K. Most bearish scenario, says MemeCat, is 77K. Yeah, that's basically sweeping up the lows here. Yeah, 80K and then 77. Yeah, basically sweeping up those lows. Not expecting a major breakdown as of yet after this range, okay? This structure, getting this bounce, as a lot of people were saying, bear flag, we break down. At this point, it's low probability to get a successful breakdown, okay? I can explain why on the higher time frame, but let's go through the lower time frame here as we are looking for this possible rejection from this 50% Fibonacci. and that lower high. Let's see if we squeeze up here and get the rejection. Execution is simple. Risk management is simple. If we roll down from here, I have to say, for me, it would be a mistrade. Okay, so I'm in no rush. It's all about understanding the levels, understanding the zones of rejection for a scalp day trade short, protect position, take profits. If not, get stopped out, right? So let's see. What's wrong with you? Yeah, anyway, we'll get this guy out of the way. We don't need no haters here. Yeah, we just get rid of the guy, right? If someone's going to be coming here clowning the situation, right, we just get him out. So he's clearly somebody new that is not realizing when we look for the setups and what we do. So he could piss off. That's it. Much love, Milo Palmarit. Much love to you, my man. Staffer one is around somewhere, but it's all right. I did handle it. Where are you from? I'm from Spain. Mum from the Isle of Man, and dad is Spanish. So yeah, much love here only. Exactly, much love. We're looking at the different possibilities, okay, which haven't been too bad for the last few weeks, right? We know we've traded the range, making the people aware also of be careful of thinking yesterday that this is a bearish pennant. Very much aware that this was a three-wave structure. If this is a three-wave structure, this extends long in time. We're looking at an individual wave here that is no longer part of this one. So we do not expect with high probability that this is going to break down, right? So, we just give those tricks and tips here. So far, well, we did wake up with the price moving up here. A lot of people saying short, and I was like, be aware of shorting here, manage risk, because if you don't manage risk, and you're using too much leverage, this pump, got you liquidated for sure. If you're not managing risk very, very carefully, right? So anyway, let's continue through the comment section here right away. Hello, Andy. BTC over the weekend was nearly a straight line, then pump and dump. It was, my man. I know. Andy called it correctly. Everyone was talking about Santa Rally, and Andy and Devil said, no, we're going to range. Yeah, very much, still very range bound. Put on mascara. Much love to you. Okay, much love to you. Thank you very much for the confirmation. People like to come in here new to hate when they haven't been watching even 10 minutes, right? So it is what it is. What can we do? Assuming W completed on December 9, is X finished, or we still looking for C wave in X from 92.3K? Assuming W is finished, completed in December 9. Wow, let's go through this. Let's go through this without a doubt. Assuming that W is finished. Sheesh. On December 9. December 9, yeah. This one over here. There is one scenario. Hang on a minute. I'm just paying attention to the pump here on Bitcoin. Let's set the alert. I've got the other chart here that I'm watching, but yeah, we want to do higher time frame analysis, but we might just get that set up here as we do pump into that level. That's what I'm waiting for here, legends, as you do know. Okay, so I am really looking for that SFP. So let's see if the price does manage to stretch its legs here ever so slightly. We are slowing down, so price is slowing down in this region. Yeah, an internal double top here would be ideal. One more pump up here and get that SFP. I'll tell you what, if we do not reach these highs and we get a dump, then the bounce is the one that I'm going to short, okay? If we do not take out that lower high, which is the ideal entry for me, even though the price is slowing down, if we dump down and get into this territory, then what I'm looking at is for these lows to be taken, because this has failed as a 5-wave move up, right? So yeah, it looks like it does want to. So I won't short the exact high, but I'll look to short somewhere here. If my level is not touched, I realize the weakness. This would be a confirmation of a 3-wave structure, so I would be interested very much in shorting the bounce to claim these lows anyway, right? The risk to reward won't be that great, but it's still an entry regardless, right? It's still a higher probability move that we do get. So waiting patiently here. We have the 3-wave move, so that now there's 2 options. We actually hit the 50% and that lower high, which is obviously a good SFP locally, or we get the leg down, and this does confirm, all right, if we do get down to this range, basically, it will confirm that this movement up is not impulsive. It's likely a 3-wave structure, and eventually what we're looking at here is some kind of a quick bounce to the 382 50% Fibonacci to position to come and claim not only the recent lows, but even claim 86.4k low, right? Which, you know, looking for this downtrend momentum to continue. And it's all about managing risk, knowing your entries, knowing the weakness, and just a matter of being patient here, right? So let's see, I'm going to set an alert at the high, and I'm going to set an alert here at the very, very recent, in the middle of this range. So for the moment, that's what we're going to do here. Yeah, got 2 alerts here. Yeah, it looks like it wants to roll over. Looks like it wants to, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so what else do we have? What else do we have here? We were going to talk about something here, and I forgot. Oh yeah, this scenario. Somebody was saying about the wave W here, finished on the 9th of December, which automatically, don't need the alerts here. It's going to just make some noise. The wave W here. Someone's saying about wave W finished here. Let me see if I can find that comment. Is X finished, or are we still looking for a C wave in X from 92.3k? Well, 93.2k, 92.3k. From 92.3k. Why 92.3k? One scenario that if this is your wave W, in that, yeah, the problem is this can, yeah, 3-wave, yeah, this cannot be a wave W. Yeah, this would have to be either a wave A, okay, and the main reason why, because a wave W needs a 3-wave move, basically. Let me see. Yeah, one of the scenarios here literally is if this is the end of a structure right there, you have wave. If this has to be a wave W, then we have a problem here with this scenario. So I prefer this 3-wave move up being a wave A, okay, because you can have a 3-wave in a wave A and a 3-wave down in a wave B to possibly form a flat structure, okay, which is literally continuing the range here. This is this scenario right over here. Okay, which is a WXY here in a 3-wave structure, and then you have your A wave, your B wave, And now what you want to see is an aggressive move down in your C wave, which this would have to be your wave 1, your wave 2, and your wave 3 literally getting developed here. So you might have one more wave 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, 5 correction, and then 5. And what you're looking at as all of this as a 3-wave move down to complete your B wave of the flat. And then the C wave, what you want to see is an impulse move to the upside. Now, you know, this is one of the scenarios that looks quite interesting. However, you know, if you're waiting for lower to get into the long here for this ABC flat, 3-wave up, 3-wave down, we might just sweep up the lows and get an epic bounce, right? And, you know, this is why we need to favor the local scenarios, basically, which is the triangle. The triangle for the moment is the most attractive. When we take a look at the, yeah, we're getting a pretty interesting drop now at the moment. Not sure if anybody managed to get into a short in this zone. I would have preferred that sweep of the high. Maybe some people are feeling more aggressive just to jump into the short. The price did stop in this region, so you know, sometimes you just, as mentioned, I would have preferred that, but it does make sense to believe that this is a 1, 2, 3. All of this, you got high volume still on the movement to the downside. Yeah, ideally here what we do see is a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5 breaking down here in the next coming hours. Regardless, if I miss this short, let's see if we do get a bounce though after claiming. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. If we do get a little bit lower here, the bounce I think is going to be very, very interesting. Then to move down here in that wave 5. For the moment, double 1, 2 has low probability. The main reason why a double 1, 2 here for a 1, 2, 1, 2 and like really rally from this point is because your second wave 1 is much longer than the first wave 1. So it just decreases the probability for that scenario to really rally here very, very strongly. So the bounce is going to be looking quite interesting. Yeah, we're going to have to go through the lower time frames here. Let's see, go to the 1 minute time frame and see what's going on. Would be nice here. You know what would be ideal in this zone? Get a shallow bounce, take the low again, and then get the bounce. I would be happy to look for a short on this bounce. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Get a little range here, claim the low again. Get some more downside. Then we can confirm that this is very, very likely a 3-wave structure. But we need a bounce. Let's see if we do get a quick little wick bounce in the next coming minutes. Whoever was aggressive taking that short position at this little consolidation. I mean, you are getting a little exhausted here. This is already a sign of getting exhausted. 3-wave structure. It's very downtrending today. Okay, 1, 2, 3, a wave 4 makes sense. 3-wave structure developed. Would it be nice to sweep up those highs? With this little consolidation, the problem is putting your stop loss here. You need to give it a little bit of room for stop loss. If you're getting into this short, just being aware that you could actually double top here locally, but yeah, it looks like it wants to move down here. Let's see if we do get a bounce. I would be happy to get into the bounce. 50% to the 618 would be my zone, and for sure I would put stop loss at the high here at this point. The idea here is that we start a new bearish impulsive move down. Let's see if we do get that bounce. Not sure if we will. Let's see. But whoever aggressively entered that short here, would be nice for me to get that sweep over the highs. So it's just a missed trade, guys. I would be interested in longing the movement down here, guys, because what I would label this is a 5-wave impulse to the downside. Yeah, high probability that we take out these lows at this point. So whoever shorted from here, good job. good job. But overall, I will be looking for the longs. We need to claim that low eventually. There's no longs to be taken here for me. So not only claiming this low, preferably it does squeeze down even below 86k, preferably, which is the lows here, right, of the weekend basically. Well, last Wednesday, sorry. This pivot low would be nice to stretch those legs here with that movement to the downside on the lower time frame. Let's see. We could get that. We could get that here in the next coming hours. Acceptable entry. I missed it, guys. I missed it. I wanted to see the sweep of those lower highs at 50% Fibonacci. Not sure. Let me know in the comment section. Anybody that at this point, there is a very, very good high probability that we are likely going to take out this low at some point. Okay. Well, it might happen on stream. So whoever's in that short from here, hopefully we can get a bounce, some kind of a bounce here to the 50% Fibonacci would be nice. And that's where I would consider the short. Let's see if we do get it. Stop loss at the high. But the probabilities are very, very high at this moment to take out this low. Okay. 3-wave structure up. Possible bearish count. Very, very nice. Let's see the bounce now, if we do get it. And if we don't get the bounce and we move down pretty aggressively, I got no other option than look for the longs. After an impulsive move down, if we can detect that 5th wave, which is probably getting developed as we speak, ideally we need to sweep this low. Ideally, and that's when I'll be looking for the long setup. Ideally, we sweep that low. We got that bunch of liquidity here, just below 86.4, hundreds of millions of dollars of long liquidations. So ideally, that is swept, and that's when we look for the relief rally. With that said, it doesn't matter getting into every single trade. Whoever entered this speculative wave 4. To claim the lows, not bad. I mean, it is a movement of $1,500 almost. Nice day trade move down. Yeah, I've got no other option here than actually look for the 5th wave, sweep those lows, and look for the reversal bounce, which most commonly gets above the 4th wave. So yeah, that's a little bit of what I'm looking at the moment, guys. Nice, it was an acceptable level to short. Invalidation is the golden pocket. It would have been nice to sweep those highs. I was getting ready for that entry, but maybe if we do get this bounce now and we hit the 50% Fibonacci, I will be happy to jump into that short, guys, with stop loss at the highs. Risk to reward is not going to be that great, as if you did catch the highs here, depending on your stop loss. But I would want to see a bounce here, at least to round about 87.6, just because your wave 2s are common to at least take out 50% Fibonacci. Not always, of course. You can hit 382, shallow bounce, and then roll over. But that's just standards, okay, that we have when we are trading here. This is highly likely a corrective move, which means that we are likely going to take out this low at some point in the next coming hours. So eventually, if you have that 3-wave move up, you know, we were looking for a either shorting the fourth wave, which is complex. You know, you can have some levels and stuff ready, but if you do not catch the high of the fourth wave, what you want to try and catch is, of course, the wave 2, right, of the fifth wave, right? That's the ideal scenario here that you know, I'm looking for at the moment. And if we do roll over quite aggressively in the next hour or so, just literally looking for the bounce of the fifth wave. So at this point, the good thing is the probabilities with this structure is low to break down massively here, right? With this information, that's the good thing. That's the beauty of understanding here, that the probabilities are low to actually nuke down, right, to 84, 83k, or right. So when you start claiming this low, and preferably the lows here of the range, we need to claim that low, guys. That low has to be hit, at least for me anyway. If not, if we bounce after sweeping up that low, it's a missed trade for me. You know, if we sweep up this low and we SFP and we get an epic bounce, I will very, very likely miss this long. You know, being so close to that low with the triangle scenario, which is actually looking for that three-wave structure, right? When we talk about the triangle here, ideally from this D wave lower high, ideally we do claim that low so we can have a three-wave structure. If you don't claim that low, you literally don't have that three-wave, you know, zigzag, you know, structure here, which is what I want to see eventually. So any very strong bounces from here, you know, it's going to be a miss long for me. What can we say? What can we say? So anyway, let's see if we do get this bounce at this point. High probability, legends, to claim this low of today, okay? High probability. Let me just double check. All right, legends, let's go. Time for comment section. Anybody got into the short trade? Let me know, guys. If anybody entered a short trade here, I would have preferred the SFP, but the direction was pretty much correct, right? When we're speculating here on that fourth wave, right? This is basically what makes more sense at the moment here. Three-wave structure up. 382, 50% common zone for the fourth wave. You got a three-waver. You're claiming this higher low. Right now, you have a very, very good chance to hit this low in the next coming hours. Of course, shorting up down here is not the greatest option. So the bounce here for that short would be ideal. So let's see if we do get that bounce, at least to 50% Fibonacci. We need to have standards here, guys. If not, we cannot trade. Anyway, much love to everybody. I got into the short. Thanks, Andy. I know when many times when I talk about a short trade in a zone and a possible projection, I know TP1 incoming. I know a lot of people just jump in, right? Because they do know that I shorted late a bit. Don't worry. I'm interested in the short. There's a good chance that we do claim those lows. So let's see if we do get a little relief rally here. I mean, if it does still continue rolling over, then that's all good. We're still looking at this to be the wave 5, but preferably, you know, we do get some little bounce. Let's see. I do think we can get it. I do think we can get it. This is the 1 minute time frame, guys, right? So this is like really going down the rabbit hole. But yeah, a few people entered the short here got into the short. Few people getting into that short based on a bit of Elliott wave and Fibonacci, 50%, three-wave structure up. Would have been nice. Your real invalidation at this point was the golden pocket. So you need to understand that, you know, we did get the stop, which is a good sign on the 1 minute. So you are stopping here in this zone. So that means that you are losing steam in this 3-wave structure up. Kind of would have been acceptable. The problem is here, if you enter that short, you know, your real hard invalidation is the golden pocket. Okay, which is coming in at 88.5k, because that's the invalidation for the wave 4. You don't want wave 4 to hit golden pocket. You want it to hit 382 or 50% at most. So, you know, obviously you are targeting the low, so the risk reward is 2 to 1 at this point, which is obviously acceptable already. But then if you do catch the SFP, you know, you can get into a kind of a bit of a better risk reward, like stretching it to 4 or 5 to 1. Getting the bounce at the moment. So let's see if we do get that leg up here. This is the general idea that I have at the moment. Very, very locally, guys. So this is a high probability 3-wave structure up, which means that we, you know, based on the local structure, obviously a 3-wave up can extend. It doesn't mean that you need to come down straight down here on the bounce. It can extend a complex WXY kind of structure where you get a move down and then you get a triangle or a flat, right? And then move down. However, I would not expect that, because if this needs to be from this structure, we won't have much time here to look for a longer correction, right? To then move down. This is about right for the wave 4 based on timing, right? And the symmetry. So we are getting that bounce here. Nice little bounce. Nice little bounce. Let's see if we do catch the 50% Fibonacci here on this movement. Yeah, it looks like we do want to hit it. 382 has been hit. Let's see if we squeeze up a little bit more. A little bit more, 50% to the golden pocket would be ideal here. We could potentially form a little bit of a zigzaggy move or a little bit of a rangy structure before rolling over is the ideal here. And the invalidation is the highs. You don't want the highs to be taken. So that's how we want to manage the risk here. 382 for me is a bit shallow. Would stretch here a little bit more. See if we tap that 50% and then roll over in the next hour. So let's see if we do get that movement here to the upside a little bit more. Whoever shorted from higher, absolutely wonderful. Good job. Remember, guys, that you do have Bluffin. Bluffin for me is one of the greatest centralized exchanges down there. You do have the link down below, okay, to claim that bonus, $1,000 deposit bonus. If you deposit 7K, if you deposit 5K, you're getting 750. And for the people that sign up with the link down below, you got a bonus on the 31st of January. I will let you know. I'll be leaving the Telegram down below on the 31st for the DMs and the new product that I'm launching that eventually has the daily setups inside of the product, guys. Okay. So yeah, Stafford One, much love. Sagar Chanda, how are you doing? Hi Andy, I love your content and the way you do the analysis. Thanks for the education. Where can I learn Elliott Wave patterns, books? You got Elliott Wave Principle, which is a book that's been live for many decades. And you got also the classic website, which is this one right over here, Elliott Wave's Forecast, which explains everything in detail. Okay, Elliott Wave has been, you know, around since the 1930s, so it's, you know, almost 100 years old. Obviously, there's been some modifications in the last couple of decades, but, you know, nice website is elliottwaveforecast.com. You got to have everything here very well organized, okay, as you can see here. And it talks about the Fibonacci, motive wave, Elliott wave, correction, zigzag, double three, triple three, and Elliott Wave Principle book, as well as the classic book, eventually the most modern one, with all the details. Okay, you can find that on Amazon for about $20 or so, or $25, I think. The Telegram I will put the DM on the 31st. Okay, we've got a new product getting launched, which eventually is going to be adding setups. but that will be announced on the 31st. Okay, epic art. Much love to you. I tried BTCC. It sucks. I used to use Binance. Bluffing is extremely good. Okay, bluffing, the getting into the orders, and it's extremely fast. Lots of liquidity. We're getting that move here to the upside, guys. Hang on a second. We need to look here at that bounce up. Currently just hit the 50% Fibonacci, so that's all good for me. That's an acceptable level already. Yeah, I would be looking for the lows. Risk to reward is not that extremely great, but I think that's an acceptable. Of course, this bounce has the potential of reaching golden pocket 7-8 as well. It does have that potential. So let's see here. Moving up at the moment. This would be the rejection point. That's where I want to see. We are punching through here. Oof. We're punching a little bit aggressive here into the zone. We want to really struggle here in this area. Let me just take a look here at the CBD, and if there are many longs entering here. Yeah, and unfortunately, we are getting some bullish CBD divergence, unfortunately, here. Lots of shorts entering here late into the movement. So if you don't get in on the bounce, let's see here how the price does develop. No, it would have been nice to get some local bearish CBDs. We did get some bullish CBD divergence, unfortunately. Lots of shorts entering here as we were getting the movement down, which is not ideally what you want to see. At the golden pocket, this is the moment that we should get that reversal. Did punch up pretty aggressively. Not a bad zone for the rejection. Invalidation is this high at this moment. Unfortunately, we did have lots of shorts entering the market here. When we do take a look at the delta, which is not what you want to see. And we would want to see lots of longs entering here at this point. Golden pocket hit. This should be the rejection point. This should be the zone of rejection. Let's see. Nice little bounce. Let's see what stock market is doing. Stock market is moving down ever so slightly. I'm not sure when I got this level here. Yeah, let's see. Let's go Bitcoin. Let's go Bitcoin. Zone of rejection. Let's see. Invalidation is the high, guys. The target zone is the lows. Let's see if it wants to. Let's go through the comment section. You just say short 87.6. Surprised? No, only looking at the data here that we do get lots of shorts down here, not here. The fact that you got shorters entering here, okay, but the ideal area to short somewhere in this zone eventually, or short the bounce, right? You don't want to short down here And the problem is with the data, there's shorts coming down here in this zone, right? So it's that's what creates the bullish CVD divergence, right? So when we do take a look at CVD here, what you have is just very recently on this movement down in this area, you get a big move down here, which is creating higher lows on price action and lower lows on the CVD. That's only on Bybit US dollar tether. So it's only on US dollar tether here where it's actually getting, you know. Ideally we short the bounce or this bounce over here. Don't short, you know, down here. Absolutely amazing. Most of you keep falling for these low volume pumps. Much love, Dustin Price 7927. Much love to you. Are you going for a long? No. No, not me anyway. If the price does pump, but yeah, more interested in these lows to be taken, potentially in the next coming hours, maybe sooner. But this is the scenario that I am looking at anyway, right? I'm just a guy on the internet that's just giving his opinion and his experience and his, you know, risk management tips and rest of it. But yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe some people are joining the stream right at this point. But the thing is, if you do, you know, as explained, you get the movement to the upside here in a three-wave structure. You know, I'm looking for a short here, or I'm looking, if we do claim this zone, I'm looking to short the bounce, because the idea is to do this. So 50% to the golden pocket range is your ideal zone for a possible lower high, right? We're never certain at the end of the day. It's just looking at probabilities and the local scenarios, the local information. So yeah, let's see. Anyway, let's go through the comment section. Hi Andy, I am from Argentina and I love your streams. Congrats for that. Much love, my man. Tomas Savila. Much love to you. Much love to you. Is the volume ultra low in the order book? It is. It is relatively low. It is relatively low, I have to say, at least on Bybit. Depending on what exchange you're looking at. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Can you kindly take a look at Ethereum, please? Ethereum is going to be taken a look at throughout the stream. I've got a few scenarios, mainly higher time frame. We focus on lower time frame, of course, on Bitcoin. I have to say, I prefer the lows here at 86.3k to be claimed today. Based on the info that I have on the chart, unless this is going to be something else and we're going to just continue the range pump and dumps here in this massive zone of the last 2 weeks here. But based on the information that I have, I think the probabilities are actually quite high that we take out 86.4k today. We're only $1,000 away from current price. I'm talking like if it was a massive level to be hit. But based on the info that I have, based on either the bearish case or the bullish case, I mean, it's either the super bearish case or the one that is bullish, that you claim the low and bounce, purely based on what we have right now with this lower high movement down, that could be an impulse. This could be a three-wave corrective structure, and then this leg down that ideally, really ideally, you do sweep up this low. Ideally, but we can never be certain, guys, you know. But with the info that I have on the lower time frame, it does look pretty okay for that to happen. What I would be concerned about is I don't like, you know, I would rather see this movement to the downside, still your wave 3, because, you know, anybody that has a little bit of imagination here can potentially say, okay, well, what if this 5-wave move to the downside, you got 1, 2, and this is your 3rd wave, because you have a little consolidation right there or whatever downtrend structure, and this is your 5th wave. The problem with this is that the wave 4 is the problem here. You want something similar, you want a bounce, and to fit in a wave 4 here is just not the ideal scenario when we're looking at the 15-minute, right, 5-minute time frame. So ideally this is still part of your 3rd wave, and this is your 4th wave right there, right? So that's what I am basically looking at the moment, to see if this is the scenario that is actually developing, to claim those lows and even go to lower prices. And your invalidation is the high, of course, right? And the main reason I prefer that is because I can't fit a nice solid wave 4 in this region. Not looking too great for this to be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is very, very likely still the part of the 3rd wave. And if you do claim here to the upside, then this just turns into another 3-wave structure. And this is literally what's been happening for the last week or so, right? Where you have a 3-wave down, you never get that 4 and 5. And the movement to the upside here throughout the last couple of days also didn't end up in a 5-wave move to the upside, right? So if we were to get that pump and claim here the golden pocket, just have to go with the idea of we still formed a 3-wave move down, and we're still continuing this very, very complex range that's packed with 3-wave structures. So that's a little bit of what we got here at the moment. So what can we say? Let's see if this does. Yeah, that's the one that I explained is my preferred scenario at this point. I'm just thinking of, if we were to sweep up the highs, if it were to be the case of sweeping up the lower high of this zone with the VWAP, I would be getting stopped out of that position. Would I consider this a solid re-entry? Just in case we do have a zigzag up, correction down, another zigzag to the upside here, and then the price decides to roll over. Yeah, just because, the probabilities are high to take out this low regardless. So VWAP could be an option here for the short, or the SFP here still. I'm still in favor of this SFP. If we were to hit those highs and we do not break out successfully, I would still consider this SFP from these local highs, right? We need to get that SFP, because if it just smashes through the level, there's just no short that I'm going to be taking here if the price pumps out, which I'm not in favor of. But if we sweep the highs and reject, I would consider that short trade to then come down and hit the lows. So let's see. There's two plans. Shorts is the name of the game at the moment. At least to take out those lows at 86.7k. So we'll see. We'll see. But CVD is bullish. That's the main problem at the moment. But the trend is overall down. CVD is The only CVD that we do have that is bullish is the one on Bybit US dollar tether. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. We actually got some internal bearish CVD divergence here on Bybit, which is kind of good, but not. It's kind of not enough. Very, very local ones. The only bullish ones is on Bybit US dollar tether. There's been lots of shorts entering on US dollar tether, forming those lower lows on CVD, higher lows on price action. So that's something that could ruin the party here to claim the highs. Let's see, still in favor of the scenario of claiming the lows here, especially with this movement coming down this close to hit the lows, almost hitting the lows. It didn't hit the lows, but for this to be a bullish structure is low probability. Of course, you know, when you have a 3-wave up, a 3-wave down like this, the only kind of bullish structure that you could come up with is some kind of a diagonal here that could be on the formation, where you get a 3-wave up, 3-wave down, 3-wave up, and then you have like a contracting, you know, diagonal on the formation. Unfortunately here, that is low probability anyway. So let's see, it doesn't want to roll over, it doesn't want to take out the lows. Let's see, still ranging, still, you know, a little pump here. We'll see. We're going to have to wait to develop. If not, stopped out. And if we do SFP from this zone, I will consider a re-entry. Needs to SFP from here. If you don't roll from here to claim the lows, I'm looking for an SFP here. There's nothing more else to add here. If we take out those highs, which I think it's not going to, I'll be looking for an SFP. So if it does break through, not shorting. If we SFP, entering the short, stop loss at the high here, and obviously looking for the move down to the lows. So it's either this or that. And it's understanding the entry point as well, right? I'm not entering on the pump. I'm not entering on the breakout of this level. I'm entering on the rejection of the level, which is there, right? So I can have the stop loss above the fake out, most importantly, right? So that's a little bit of what I'm looking at here, more locally as an intraday scenario. It is true that we got those little bullish CVDs on Bybit US dollar tether, which is not helping, which are these ones here. But the structure is down, so structure leads the way. So yeah, we're gonna, you know, we got the levels, the invalidations. Let's see what happens. We're short again on the double top SFP. Andy bro, you went to the gym today. Yes, I did, my man. Much love to you. I did go to the gym, trying to keep fit and strong. That is the game plan. I'm doing my best. Much love to you. Unqueeded less. Much love. Staffer One, Bybit, one of the leading exchanges since 2018. Guys, check it out. You got that bonus down below. There is no bullish scenario. We want to get the lows, says Crypto. Yeah, no bullish scenario. We want to claim the lows. That's the overall game. This is not a very, very typical start of a new uptrend. Okay, so I remain with the same bias, at least very, very locally here, which is to claim this low. Of course, I mean, yeah, when you do take a look at the lower time frame on the 1 minute, basically, I just don't want to I don't want to label this movement as the wave 4. It's extremely quick, even though this little wave 2 is also quick. So the problem is here at the moment. Is, can this be the wave 4? This is the wave 5, and you actually extend a larger bounce here throughout the next coming hours before rolling over. That is the main issue here at the moment. But I'm not liking this as a wave 4. I'm not liking this as a wave 4. I would rather, just because it's too shallow, I would rather look at this being part of this, right? And all of this is a 3-wave move, but it is possible that this is probably the 5-wave move down. And what that opens the door is that this could extend and go to slightly higher levels, maybe even hit the VWAP, right? And maybe even hit these highs, which is obviously the next rejection zone, right? You got a bit of a fair value gap here. And yeah, we are getting some bullish CVDs, unfortunately, from here. So problem is with fair value gap, you want to be always cautious here with fair value gaps, just in case you do break through them. The problem with these big moves is they do not leave much levels of resistance, no consolidations. So it is a danger zone. So it is a rejection point or not a rejection point. So yeah, unfortunately the price is pumping. It does look like it wants to attempt to hit those highs. So maybe the range does extend here ever so slightly. Let's see. Still soon. Bounces happening throughout the last, 20 minutes or so. Stock market would be nice to get the drop, but stock market, every time it drops, it gets an awesome massive rally later on. So let's see. Yeah, if we do take out those highs, we'll see how we react at this zone. And I'm either looking at a VWAP tap or SFP of this lower high. Let's see, or lower high from here, guys. This is still very much in the rejection zone. Let's go through the comment section. The 1 hour chart looks a bit bullish. The 1 hour chart looks a little bit bullish. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart and see why it's looking a bit bullish. Someone is saying here in the comment section, looking at the 1 hour chart looks a bit bullish. Without a doubt, we are. Man, I'm not sure what this looks like, but we've been very much ranging for many weeks at this point, and what can we say? This is very much still looking for the range to continue, sweep up the lows, sweep up local highs, which happened yesterday or early this morning. Ideally, we do sweep up these lows potentially today. That's what I would like to see. And the problem is with this local price action, okay, if we were to take out these local highs, then I need to understand that this was not a wave 4. Okay, if I'm looking at this to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, if we take out these highs and hit the golden pocket from the possible wave 2 here on the speculation, right? Golden pocket is all the way up here close to the VWAP. Then what I need to understand, if we do hit the 88.5k level is either that this has been a finished 5-wave move to the downside, which I do not like. I don't want to label this as a wave 4, extremely shallow and small, and there's a wave 5. I would rather look at this movement as wave 3, 4, and then 5 ideally here to take out these lows. However, yeah, the problem is here when I zoom out on the 15-minute. If we are going to extend the bounce, I personally wouldn't be too sure if we are going to extend a larger bounce here and then claim the low later on, that this is going to be a 3-waver. I would be very, very much aware of the situation here to sweep up the lows and get into the long. I mean, eventually it's a liquidity grab, and a reaction bounce is just extremely likely from this zone. But what I would want to see is, a 3-wave move here with this complex, still rangy structure. However, you need a 5-wave down, right? This couldn't be counted nicely as a 5-wave down. Okay, lots of choppiness, of course, but counts better as an impulse. And if this is going to be an impulse down already developed and the bounce extends, the problem is here, you want to see a 5-wave to the downside here, not a 3-waver. So, the ideal scenario would be finishing the 5-waver here, finishing the 5th wave now, right, in the next coming hours. Well, not now, but I mean throughout the next coming hours between today and tomorrow morning, right? Or basically in the next coming hours. So then you have a 5-waver here being developed on this drop of today. But if you get a larger bounce, if that were to be the case in the coming hours, then I am looking at this to be a wave 1, wave 2, and then maybe this movement has a lot more power, and then it gets the bounce, and all of this turns into a 3-wave structure. So this is the problem if we do get a larger bounce here, that I wouldn't be looking directly for an SFP, just because this 3-wave move, the 3rd wave needs a 5-wave. So ideally this is a 4th wave, and we do claim the lows in the coming hours, and it turns into that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the ideal scenario, because then I would really say, okay, you got a 5-wave move down here from today's drop. This 5-wave down, just a long 3-wave complex correction here. I mean, this would be the ideal to really look for that SFP to be successful. If we are going to extend the range here, there's definitely a problem for that SFP, because this movement down could be a little aggressive, right? And it doesn't directly get that SFP. So we'll just be very aware if it does extend a bounce here in the coming hours and then moves and then rolls over. I'm going to have to remain a little bit patient here to see exhaustion for that 4 and 5 kind of situation. It just really depends now. Preferably we roll over from here and sweep up the lows, but let's see if the market wants to give us that scenario. Maybe not, maybe yes. We will see. Yeah, I mean this would have been a cheeky 4-5, I have to say. This would have been a cheeky 4 and 5 right there. Very small, not beautiful. Let's see, price is bouncing a little bit. It doesn't want to roll over. The bounce is, I mean, it is looking poor. I have to say, it's a poor bounce. Let's see. Let's take a look at the CVD. We don't want to see bullish local CVDs. That's not what we want to see. We want to see longs entering the market here, preferably. The nasty point here was the bullish CVDs. Unfortunately, we got some, quite a lot of shorts entering here, which eventually is a magnet to take out the highs. That's the only unfortunate thing here that we have on Bybit US dollar tether. Too many shorts entering right now. Hopefully they're closing positions. There are longs entering, which is okay. It's nice to see. Still a chance of rolling here, of course. We got some local bearish CVDs. There's been some longs entering here on Bybit, not massive, but still. There are some local longs entering. Let's see. RSI is oversold. Maybe a pullback from here. Very possible. What time frame is that? I would like to know. There is a hammer candle formed in the 1 hourly and 4 hourly, so maybe a relief pump, then dump. That is the scenario at the moment, of course. I mean, the probabilities are high for this local move up to be corrective. If we wanted to get something bullish from the low here, the problem is that if you are getting into a new move either up or down, right, what you want to see is, right, the market forming, with the waves to the downside and lower highs, and after that movement down and that bounce, you want to see follow through, basically, right, and then a lower high and follow through. The moment you form a 3-wave move, okay, the third wave that's not getting follow through, okay, and it actually bounces up to this territory, then that is high probability a corrective 3-wave structure, which means that there is a good chance that you're going to take out this high at some point, right? So if this movement down finished here or whatever, and the bounce, starts overlapping the territory of your wave 1 and 2, then you automatically understand that this is likely going to be a 3-wave corrective structure. It doesn't mean you need to shoot up back to the zone, because what you could form is a 3-wave structure up, a zigzag up, and another zigzag down, and then a complex WXY, and then you take out the high. This is the problem, at this point that I'm looking at this moment, right? So it's either forming a lower high here, or you extend this bounce and then you roll over later on, which is the issue at the moment, right? Just because of this internal movement down, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The wave 2 is for sure being small here. So this is the 1 minute time frame, right? You always need to take that with a pinch of salt. You can count all of this movement as the wave 3. Just because this has been relatively small for a wave 4, and wave 4s are usually longer than your wave 2. So if you were looking at this as a wave 2 and this is your wave 4, so that's already something that's not looking great. Wave 4 is smaller, so that's not great. Usually your wave 4s are longer in time than your wave 2, so that's, this kind of makes sense here based on timing. A little bit longer than this one, that's about right. Yeah, a little bit of a tricky scenario. It is downtrending. This move, highly likely a corrective move. If this had to be the start of a bullish trend to the upside, what we do have as the bullish scenario would be a multiple 1-2, which is eventually a 1-2, 1-2, and then you're developing another 1-2 here, and then you literally break out in a third wave, and then it's 4-5, 4-5. However, this second 1 and 2 is quite longer than this one, and this is the 1 minute time frame, so you obviously need to take this with a grain of salt, right? But as there's lots of noise on the 1 minute, 3 minute time frame when you're looking at elliott wave theory, but that the probabilities of this being a bullish structure is low. However, when you form a 3-wave move, it doesn't mean that this needs to be the lower high and the next move is taking out the low, even though this is something that I favor at the moment, because I would like to believe that this movement is your 4th wave and the 5th wave is going to get developed here in the next coming hours, which kind of fits in nicely with the probabilities. But it doesn't mean that this needs to be the absolute top, because what a 3-wave move gives you is understanding that this is likely a move that is corrective, and that at some point you're going to take out the low. And if this is not the high, then what you're looking at maybe is a zigzag up correction and another zigzag to the upside, and then it moves down. So, and you have a double zigzag at that moment in time. Then if you do hit the golden pocket from this pivot lower high to the low, I need to understand, if it were to reach the golden pocket, I need to understand that maybe this is the end of the impulsive move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is just a WXY, hits golden pocket and could VWAP, potentially, right? And then it moves to the downside. So that's the situation a little bit right now. Is this going to be the high, or are we going to manage to stretch to the VWAP and the golden pocket and form a little bit of a complex double zigzag situation? Just because the probabilities based on this movement up that we've had in the last few hours is likely that this is corrective move to the upside, right? So however, when we do zoom out, I have to say, guys, this range is getting a little bit overextended rangey structures, where we have been having 3 waves down and 3 waves up in the last week, in the last few weeks, except for this movement down that has been pretty okay to count it as an impulse. But 3 wave down here and then massive bounce, not getting continuation down. This movement to the upside also, right? You got the first rally. We labeled this as a possible contracting diagonal yesterday, where you got a contracting diagonal correction, and then the third wave, which is either a C wave or a wave 3. If it's a wave 3, you want some correction here and a bounce. If it's a wave C, then what you look at is a reversal eventually, right? So you know the deal, right? You know the point. So can this movement down be a 3-wave or a finished impulse? I would rather see this as a finished impulse down. If it does get a bounce, I would still be interested in claiming those lows at 86.3k. However, it's not going to be as easy. Not going to be as easy. I mean, this range is, I've literally got a headache here with this range. This range is really still shorts would be looking interesting, I have to say. I'm trying to come to the conclusion of the bullish case scenario from this point that has a chance with the local information to actually rally and take out the highs of yesterday, right? You know, is there a scenario? You always need to figure out a possible scenario that rallies from here to take out 90k. But I have to say, with the recent information that we do have, the probabilities are actually quite high at the moment that we do take out this low, and especially with the local movement down and the local bounce, there is high probability three-wave corrective structure. You know, you just need to lean with the probabilities of actually rolling down at some point, even though you do extend the bounce here. Especially with this three-wave move to the upside. So yeah, ideally it's either rollover from here as explained, or extend the range, potentially hitting VWAP or the golden pocket and then taking out the lows. So, you know, this is where we do get, you either position yourself here or you position yourself here, you know, maintain good risk management and go from there. So hopefully we do roll over from here and take out the lows. Let's see. Lil joining all sessions. They are always amazing. Epic art. Much love. Devilt, my man. Devil is here. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Devil, guys. Go and check him out. Awesome content also on YouTube. He is a coach in the pro community, and we are launching something special for 2026. Check out Devil's channel, guys. I'm not sure if he's been live streaming lately, but his content is absolutely superb. Great analysis, Andy. This deserves a like. Much love to you, Devil. I'm not sure how many likes we do have here. We're going to do a like recount great analysis right away. Almost 200 likes. That's good enough. That's great. BTC about to nuke Andy. It does look like, I mean, it does look like it. It does look like it. Let's see. This movement up, highly likely corrective. The problem is here is, do we extend a complex correction here before taking out the lows of today? Right? That's the thing. That's the thing. This would be a very, very natural zone for people to long as well, because people are going to believe that, you know, we've swept the lows of Sunday basically, right? And I think it's a natural zone to look for longs. If we're thinking of like the psychology, right? We already got the big dump. We're looking for a reversal right now, right? This is what's been happening throughout the last few weeks, where we get a pump of a few $1,000s. What we look for later is a dump, and if we dump, what we look, you know, if the big move has happened, which looks like the case at the moment, I think, yeah, it would be a natural instinct at this zone for maybe people jumping into long positions. So, I mean, let's see. This is the 1 minute time frame, guys. We can't zoom in that much. Devil, my man, much love to you. Thanks for joining the stream. Absolute legend. Nice. I think it would go higher. It would on the morning and night to 92, and then reject. If it rejects right now before 92, it shows weakness on BTC, and now we should hit lowest target, then bounce for the dead cat bounce. Childing out, yeah. It won't get the price action up. The market is too low right now. Devil the King. Scalp short is entered. Got stop loss here at 88.1k. Okay. We're giving this one a chance. We're giving this one a chance here to the downside. So let's see. Let's see if it does want to. It does want to end up rolling to the downside. We're going to give it a chance here on this scalp. Let's see. I think it is an acceptable attempt. It is an acceptable attempt. And if not, the next zone would be the SFP from this lower high right there. With the VWAP, with the session VWAP coming down, which is almost at the golden pocket here from this last lower high, or from the highs to the lows. VWAP is always a very interesting for intraday traders, especially when you separate from the VWAP after a big move. It usually does provide some decent support. It did not do anything here, as we can see, but it usually provides a good instant reaction. Not always, but a lot of the times it does. If we do take a look at the VWAP and take a look at a few examples here. Let's see if we do get an example of the VWAP. Little reaction bounces. I mean, this is on the 15-minute. Little reaction bounce here. I mean, it's mainly a scalper's level. The VWAP is a scalper's tool. They use it for either take profit or to enter a new trade setup. Let's go through comment section, see what's going on. Open, not sure if we got some people here joining. Yeah, in that setup, okay. Not the best risk to reward, but I have to say it is acceptable. It is acceptable. Not the best risk to reward, but I'm liking the idea that this movement up is corrective. That the only doubts that I have at the moment, which I would be happy to enter a short either at the VWAP, depending on if we do reject from that VWAP, or we actually take out this lower high for an SFP, which I would be happy to get stopped out of that trade, and then look for the possible short if we do reject. Interested in shorts, just need to manage risk here eventually on how the bounce does evolve. But for this looks better as impulsive move down. But you know, the problem is here right now with this range, I have to say, you know, it is a zone to really be defensive. Shorts would have been nice early this morning or late last night as we did sweep up those highs. Shorting here is, you know, on these bounces, when you want to short a wave 4, you need to be aware that you are in danger. You need to manage risk basically, because the big move happened. There is a way of counting a little wave 4 here, which I'm not a fan of, but there is a possibility. So you just need to be aware that the big move has happened, and you want to be in the short in the big move already, right? It's like getting the big move here to the upside and wanting to long a wave 4 here. You just need to put stop loss where you need to put it, and if it doesn't end up bouncing and forming that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get out, right? So it's not a zone to play around. As in, I'm going to add to the shorts. This is super ultra bearish. It's going to lower high and claim the low. So, you know, the main short idea here is a possible wave 4. And I am aware that the good thing that I like is that the movement up looks very corrective. That's a bonus. That's a bonus, because obviously I would be interested in looking for shorts later on if we do it, you know, if we do end up ranging and then moving up again to claim this lower high. Maybe hit the VWAP as well, of course, right? If it is the case, I would still be interested in the short, because the movement up looks very corrective. Looks very, it's a 3-wave move. For me, it's already valid that this almost claimed this low over here. It would have, I mean, this would have been like the sweet spot if you do claim this low, because you realize that this structure is unlikely to be something bullish, and not a flat. Obviously your B wave has really extended, so probabilities are just high that, you know, we could claim this low at some point when you understand this 3-wave move up. You know, the only proper bullish case here, I mean, and this is the 3-minute time frame. 3-minute time frame can be very, very noisy, and yeah, when you do, you know, this is the problem with the very, very low time frames when you look at the probability side, because, you know, someone could say, you know, well, this is a wave 1, wave 2, this is a wave 3, 4, and 5, and you got a little 4, 5 in this zone, right? And it ends up being bullish. So this is why you need to manage risk. You need to understand your invalidation levels. You need to understand, you know, if we take out this high and we SFP, you know, I got a solid entry right there, stop loss, we move down, I'm going to protect position, I'm not going to risk it, you know, because, you know, obviously then you have the people that would say, well, as Andy said, that there's high probability in claiming this low, I'm just going to short every single movement here to the upside because a lower high is very, very likely, and then the price ends up getting a massive rally, right? And what we need to understand is that the price has been in a very, very complex range. That's something that I understand. I haven't enjoyed very much the trading in the last few days. It's not something that's enjoyable, this range, when it's overextending. And, you know, this 3-wave down, I don't want to use the combination here of what could happen, but if you have a 3-wave down and a 3-wave up, you know, just to get something here to add as a, you know, to make it more complex. I'm sure this hit the 236 Fibonacci or zone, right, for a B wave of a flat. Yeah, I mean, this 3-wave down, 3-wave up, and an impulse down could be a running flat. You don't need to claim the low. You've possibly formed an impulse down, and maybe this has been a finished, you know, structure, which is more a combination of different things that's happening here, which I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but it's just this range really, really sucks to really look at the probability side of things when you get so close to a high or so close to a low. You know, it's really, 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 really a nasty range, I have to say. Nasty range it does look like. So not an easy tradable range, I have to say. Ideally we do, you know, sweep up these lows at some point. Ideally we do sweep up these lows. I can't figure out here a scenario that this is the low and we actually pump up to this high, especially with the information that we have on the lower time frame. Yeah, I can't figure out that scenario here. So likely correction. I'm going to lean with a likely correction, of course. What bullish scenario could you form here? The only main bullish scenario that you could form here is some kind of a diagonal, okay, which you know, you end up forming a 3-wave up, you reject correction, form a higher low, and then another high. Obviously you need to have this pattern. You know, this is low probability pattern formation, but you need to, I take this into consideration once the wave 4 is in, right? When you do this and you start moving up from here, then you consider the contracting diagonal. And then if you do get that correction here, It's a classic, you know, ascending wedge that looks like it's going to break down and claim the lows, and then you form another higher low here, and then off we go, right? Kind of what happened here throughout the weekend, which is, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, these, especially in this very, very confusing ranging market, right? You get that ascending contracting diagonal, which is what I would label this. We talked about this yesterday, where you can fit in a 5-wave structure. I mean, that's the only bullish scenario that I could, you know, come up with right now. If we do pump in range here and form a little bit of a wedgie structure, right, which looks like a bear flag or a bearish ascending wedge, and it ends up being a completed wave to then get a correction to then, you know, form that third wave to the upside, either in a C wave or in a third wave. So this is, we talked about this yesterday, that this is likely an individual wave from the movement down, which is, you know, if we do form it, we'll talk about it tomorrow if that were to be the case. For the moment, 3-wave move up looks corrective. This wave to the upside looks corrective. Diagonals are low probability till you actually form the complete pattern formation. So, you know, what can we say? If you have a 3-wave up and this retracement almost coming down to the lows, you coming from a downtrend, you always need to favor the scenarios that, you know, to claim this low at some stage. And you're interested in levels of rejection, levels of confluence, which in this case is the possible bounce here at the golden pocket, 50% golden pocket for a lower high, the SFP of this pivot, or the VWAP, which is only, they are just levels as guidelines, right? They're entry triggers if you reject from them. Because if you slice from, you know, if you slice through them, then eventually they're not giving you that entry trigger, because you need to SFP from them. You need to reject from those pivots so you can place a stop loss on the other side. So that's a little bit of the scenario when we look at the guidelines. When I understand there is a higher chance based on the structure that is developed that, you know, we're looking to claim this low at some point, even though the range and the bounce could extend, I'm interested in rejection points, right? I'm interested in levels that if they are hit and rejected, I will consider the short trade. And if you break them, I'm not considering the short trade, right? So they are used as guidelines. And if the guidelines are violated, as in boom, right, you just, the trade is not taken. So yeah, let's go through, let's get to 300 lovely likes. Much love, Staffer One. Let's get to 300 likes for sure. Just buy a spot and hold, nothing you need to know. I've got a massive spot bag still. I've only sold 25% of my Bitcoin throughout the bull market. So, you know, there's some cash that we can use and use for some trading, of course, if you know how to do it, right? Buy and hold, I've been doing that for years, and it is obviously good for long term. But if you have some spare time and look for some setups, there's what we do. So, are you holding your entry? Yeah, still in the entry, still holding. It's okay to get stopped out. It's fine. It's in my risk tolerance, and would look to re-enter the short maybe if we do SFP from that lower high, and or either get to the VWAP. If we break that zone solidly, then don't have any quick short trades. We got this big move down, which, you know, the problem with these movements, they don't leave much resistance. And if you are going to rally here and break through the VWAP and also break through this low, this lower high, this is like the rejection point, right? If it does not reject from this pivot and does not reject from the VWAP, then then yeah, I just don't have any good solid short trade in this zone, unfortunately. So it's either, you know, rollover from here, or either SFPs from that lower high dead cat bounce that we had shortly here with the VWAP also. And if it does not reject on one of these scenarios and moves up, then, you know, I'm not entering the shorts. This is super important to understand as well, because I know a lot of people just say, you know, I'm going to short this level regardless, right? So it is important to check the reaction at the certain levels of interest. So yeah, thank you, Andy. The one podcast I can multitask, getting solid TA with occasional glance and listening in. The piecing is perfect for comprehension, while the voicing is conversational. Absolutely. Blessing, mate, for 2026. Much love, Ritmos. Much love to you. Hi, Andy. I'm pretty sure we'll sweep the lows. Are you also aiming to long at 85.7? Janus, I'm pretty sure we're going to sweep up the lows. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see, right? We're going to have to see. Rise doesn't... It would have been nice to roll over from here already. It would have been nice to roll over from here. Not liking it. Not liking it that it's taking so long to roll over, I have to say. A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, it should push down. It should already roll over from now. Yeah, the longer it extends here, the less beautiful it looks. So preferably it does roll over at this point, at the moment. The general idea here is... Yeah, general idea here is 1, 2, 3. Treating all of this as a third wave and this the fourth wave. And then getting a 5-wave move to the downside here to claim the lows. That's the preferred scenario. You know, if we do see this movement, obviously the price is not just going to give you a lot of the times a simple zigzag and just roll over, right? We all want to see that simple zigzag at a major level that just rejects. We all enter and it comes straight back down to the lows. Price is going to test your patience, and it's, you know, probably can form very, very complex WXY structures, right? Where you do have a... You know, and this is the 1 minute time frame, so we want to take it with a grain of salt. But you know, you have the zigzag move to the upside here, for example, 3-wave structure. Then you get another 3-wave down. Maybe, well, I am treating this as a 5-waver, so, you know, potentially this is the 5-wave down, lower high, then roll over. However, you know, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, and you form a WXY where, you know, as an example, right, if the price were to roll over from here, where you got your W zigzag, a quick zigzag down here on your wave X, and then you have this being potentially a triangle. This is why if this doesn't roll over from here now, I'm going to be in doubt of this internal short. Obviously this Y wave, what I would be looking at here is this scenario, which is an ABCDE triangle. I mean, and this is the 1 minute time frame, right? You really need to take this with a pinch of salt, of course. Well, this would be the ideal scenario right now. Either this is wave 1 and this is wave 2, and you're forming 1, 2, 1, 2, and you break down, or it's a WXY, and this really needs to go down right now. You don't want the highs to be taken because it's not going to be looking pretty. So we're running out a little bit of time here. Price needs to go now. If not, we'll be happy to cut losses here. I do not want to see the price moving up. Yeah, the timing is about right already to roll over. If this is a three-wave structure, in that wave 4, this is an impulse, this is the bounce. You know, if this is going to be developing 1 2 1 2, you want that rollover to happen. And if it is a WXY triangle, it needs to go. It needs to go now. It needs to dump now, because if it doesn't and it starts dancing around for a little bit longer here, it's gonna pump. Based on timing, based on. So let's see if it does end up pushing down here. It should push down in the next 20-30 minutes max. Even less than that. I mean, this is the 1 minute. Let's see. I'm excited for 2026. Flip Fresh, much love to you. There still hasn't been real max pain. Could it be we jump straight to the 70s and then relief bounce? The problem on the higher time frame, I have to say, is I mean, there has been max pain. Come on. Right, this has been pretty max pain, I would say. The movement down that we've had since all-time high, right? I mean, it is a 30% drop, right? But yeah, what can we say? Yeah, the probabilities on the higher time frame to get a successful breakdown from here and like really go to 60k is like really low. We're likely gonna range and likely gonna take out 95k plus at some point entering into 2026. I have no doubt about that. That's gonna happen. Just because when we consider the bearish scenario, you know, a few weeks ago we were considering this maybe being a wave 4, as you have a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 and wave 5. But the problem is here, you know, that is time, not only, you know, also time. This is really extending a little bit, but it's also the movements down are not looking great. If you want to class this movement down from the last lower high of this bounce, right, as something impulsive, as something bearish, the problem is here is you know, you can't find an impulse. There's no solid impulsive move with your wave 3 in the middle that has high amount of volume, and you need to find some kind of a diagonal here, which is you have a wave 1, wave 2, you know, your third wave here and your fourth wave here, and that's your fifth wave, and then all of this is a very complex correction, which, you know, you have a flat here, corrective move, and a zigzag up. Just very crappy, because that's your last lower high. Yeah, of course, there could still be a wave 1, wave 2, and now this is a wave 1 and this is a wave 2 in a very complex, you know, correction. And now you're starting your wave 1 and then a 2, and then boom, you end up breaking down, right? I have to say it is without a doubt a possibility. However, the probabilities are not looking too great for that scenario. Leading contracting diagonal has low probability, but that would be the scenario that you would be looking for. And the problem for this is if we are looking at this to be a wave 4, I think we're really extending now quite a lot. And something interesting is looking at the base channel here from your wave, the start of your wave 1 to the end of your wave 2 here. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing right now. If this were to be a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 is you know, getting to the top of the base channel, which is not preferred. It really lowers the probability. Preferably in a wave 4, you get to the top to the bottom of the base channel, or even the mid range of the base channel. So when you look at this as a wave 1, 2, 3, your wave 4 ideally gets to this zone, and then you form a wave 5. Okay, instead of getting inside of the channel and touching the top of the channel, then that's when you realize that this is overextending for a wave 4, and the probabilities of a wave 5 are really decreasing at this moment. Still, if you do claim the lows at 80k, you're looking for a pretty decent bounce here, and most commonly you would take the wave 4. So getting massive continuation to the downside at this point is very, very low probability, and we are looking for a larger relief, continue a larger range, you know, and this is why we come up with a triangle, okay, idea, which is a double zigzag, right, which has the potential of claiming above 95k and even slightly higher. But the probabilities of this being an impulse at this moment, also considering the structure, which looks very poor to the downside, is low probability at the moment, just also because of considering the base channel as well. You know, wave 4 and this 1, 2, 1, 2, you're looking for a breakdown here. In this case, we would be looking at this contracting leading diagonal, which has low probability anyway. And there's been a wave 1, wave 2, wave 1 and 2. And now you're just really looking at a few 1, 2s here to break down in a third wave in the next couple of weeks. But, you know, this has low probability purely based on it's overextending. You got much wider ranges that could be on the formation. You know, the triangle is one of them. It's one that we've been talking about throughout the last 2 weeks right now, which is on the 1 hourly time frame. You know, really looking at this is for the, as it stands, this is my favorite scenario, the triangle. This is my favorite scenario, which we need to break below. Obviously the lows here at 86.4k, right? The lows of last week, you know, we need to get those lows taken. And this would actually confirm from the last lower high that we get a 3 waver, right? Because this is still a lower high from that pump of late last night or early this morning. So from that, we want a 3-wave move. I want a 3-wave move, and in a zigzag, and I won't get that 3-wave zigzag unless we take out the lows here at 86.4k of last week. So, you know, I want those lows to be taken. I realize there's a good chance that we're going to take them. So, you know, there's no longs to be taken here locally, at least for me. If we were to bounce from here, guys, and claim 91k, it's a missed long position for me. You know, I missed a long. You know, what can I say? I realize that this a bounce from where we at right now to get a massive rally to 91k is just, you know, it's low probability. So could it happen? Absolutely. But this is why, for me, it would be a trade that I would miss, because there's just no solid entry, no nothing. So we're looking at this, you know, it is reasonable to believe that we could hit those lows maybe between today and tomorrow. I mean, let's see, maybe in the next coming hours. But Come on, Bitcoin, you need to push down now, because if not, ain't going to be looking pretty. This needs to get follow through here in a possible wave 3, because if not, it's not going to be looking so great. I would have preferred this movement down to get a bit of follow through here. Let's see if we do. It's fine to claim another to form another lower high, because you could build up 1 2 1 2 boom 3, right? Ends up breaking down. Boom 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 4 and 5, right? I'm looking for an impulse developed here. To possibly form a 5-wave structure, with this being your wave 1, this your wave 2, this your wave 3, and this your wave 4 and your wave 5, to finally get below 86.4, and then look for the longs. This is what I'm speculating on at the moment, but this movement down needs to get a bit of power at this moment. It is fine to get sweep up the lows, a shallow bounce. Yeah, but I don't want this to dance around. So for the moment, all good. Let's see if the bouncers don't get too aggressive. Yeah, I mean, there's for the bearish scenario here, there's 2 scenarios that I would be looking at. If this is the correct count, it's either wave 4 here or wave 4 here. The main reason why that wave 4 there is because if this is a zigzag correction and a triangle, you could form a wave 1 2 3 4 5. You know, that's the idea. Should roll here. Should end up rolling, regardless if that's the high or that's the high. If you take out this local high right now, it's not going to be looking too great, I have to say, at this point. Let's go. So on a higher time frame, yeah, we were discussing the higher time frame here. The probabilities of breaking down successfully are not too great. They're not too great here, breaking down from $80,000 in that impulsive move. We either gonna form that, in my opinion, of course, we either gonna form that triangle and then a wave Y, which has a possibility of taking out 95k, and then obviously go down, because we do have, if that is the case, then this would have to be a 3-wave structure to the downside. No longer an impulse, 3-wave corrective structure. If we take out 95k into 2026 in the next couple of weeks, then, you know, there's no solid impulse here, because the biggest move from all-time high to the lows happened in this movement, right, with a big spike move to the downside. This was the biggest move right there. No 4-5s, right? No consolidation and then a wave 5. So the problem here, if we were to take out 95k, say, in the next, you know, coming weeks, if that were to be the scenario, this automatically becomes a very, very high probability 3-wave structure, because in an impulse, what you want to see to get continuation later on to the downside, right? You get a correction and then you nuke down in a wave 3. You want to see a wave 4 and a wave 5, right? You want, at this point right now, which, you know, it is really extending. The movements down are not looking too impulsive. You know, this is why we're talking about triangles here, and then get that, you know, sideways correction, take out the highs at 95k. You know, we are coming up with that idea because it's not looking great for this to be a bear flag and take out the lows in an impulse at the moment. It is ranging, it is extending, and it's, you know, we are looking for a larger range and very likely a reversal to get to above 95k at some point in the next coming weeks, potentially entering into 2026. So the thing is, if that does happen, this movement to the downside will automatically convert into a three-wave structure. I think I have an ABC here somewhere. Yeah, basically, yeah, that's the scenario here, where, you know, if this will no longer be a wave 4 if it does extend more in time, and, you know, maybe we hit 95k plus in the next coming weeks entering into 2026. You're no longer looking at an impulse, right? This is already hitting the base channel, okay, from your wave 1 and 2. Wave 4, low probability. This is like forming an individual wave at the moment. So, you know, you do have, if that is the case, then that we do get to 95k, I do realize that, you know, we're obviously no longer looking at a wave 4. You know, the probabilities are extremely low. I would say there's still a chance for that wave 4, but it really needs to nuke down here, and we're not seeing very, very bearish impulsive moves down, unfortunately, with these legs to the downside that we got from this bounce, from this lower high over here at 95k. The move down does not look too promising, I have to say. It's a diagonal. The bounce here is extremely choppy and rangy. So, you know, what we're looking at here is either the triangle, or we're looking for a flat structure here as well, where we could form that movement down, sweep up 84, 83k, and, you know, then get the rally. It doesn't look great for continuation to the downside here. So, with that said, you know, we are looking for new all-time highs eventually to happen at some point in the future. just because the movement down would confirm being a three-wave corrective structure. And if you have a three-wave structure and not a wave 4 and 5 impulse, which is what we are waiting for basically for the last few weeks, and it's losing time and it's losing momentum, you know, the higher probability scenarios that this, if we do not start breaking down in the next coming days, that this is likely a, you know, some kind of a three-wave structure. And if you have a three-wave structure to the downside, you know, the natural belief is that, you know, we are going to come and hit all-time high in the next coming months at some point, right? So obviously this could extend in a zigzag down correction here, and then you know, sideways WXY or a double zigzag was the most bearish scenario that could take us down to the, you know, 60-50k region. Obviously we are in bear market, right? Bear market extend to late 2026. So even though this turns into a three-way structure, that doesn't mean that this is the low and off we go to all-time high in the next couple of months. Eventually you're just looking to extend the range. You got a larger sideways corrective structure, which could be a, you know, zigzag move up or whatever happens here in the next couple of months, and then you might maybe form a flat, right? And then you move up, or you form a triangle, and it's just going to be very boring and very rangy. And the most aggressive one is double zigzag, where you reject at the golden pocket or the 50% Fibonacci from all-time high to the low. And if you do hit the 70% Fibonacci, then you have a higher probability that you range. So a flat is possible and then move up, or a triangle, whatever. You know, it just means that you are forming a correction to the downside, and we are looking at high probability all-time high in the future, give or take, if it is going to be end of 2026 or start of 2027 or mid-year of 2026. It just tells you that we are looking for new all-time highs. If we were to take out 95k, that would be the ultimate confirmation that this movement down is a three-wave corrective structure. There's just because the biggest move has happened here. This is the biggest move. If you end up with a big move like this without a 4 and 5, that's the problem. That's when we have an impulse down, and then the bounce could be a correction, and then we might nuke down in a wave 3 and we're going down to 40k, right? So, but we haven't got that fifth wave. We haven't got that impulse from all-time highs. And the longer it takes and ranges, we're already hitting the top of the base channel here. And the longer it takes hitting 95k or even pumping in the next coming weeks to, back above 92k, 91, 92k, is just going to be an ultimate confirmation that what we're looking at here is very, very likely a three-wave corrective structure, which is obviously doesn't mean we need it. This is an ABC and we hit all-time highs as explained. It just means that we're looking at a corrective range. Most aggressive scenario is double zigzag, okay, which is zigzag down here. You're just looking for another zigzag to the downside with the possibility of hitting 60k, maybe even 50k, or just a sideways WXY if we do push up to 110k, which is getting above the golden pocket. That would just mean that we are going to extend a sideways corrective structure. So that's if we get up to 110k basically. So yeah, anyway, let's go right away through local price action. It's kind of pumping, it's not rolling, it's having a little bit of lagging issues at the moment. It needs to roll over, guys. It really does need a roll over. Not liking that. It's good. It's got a good chance. It does definitely have a good chance here to roll over from this area. Let's see. Three wave up, correction. Yeah, there's a higher chance to roll over from this zone in my opinion. I am in that short position, guys. There's nothing new. Three-wave move to the upside with this correction down, almost claiming that low. For this to be a double 1-2 or an ABT flat, low probability. B wave went to the moon here with this leg. Double 1-2. Second one, it's longer than your first one. Not ideal for a bullish structure. Everything points out that what would be cheeky here is that this is a zigzag. Hang on a minute, what's going on with the drawings? What would be cheeky here is a zigzag. Whoops. What would be cheeky here is a zigzag up. Man, I'm not sure what's going on here with Tradingview, but it's... What would be cheeky here is a zigzag to the upside, correction, and another zigzag here that takes out the highs, which eventually that would be a little bit cheeky, but I have to acknowledge that I would be looking for a double zigzag, and I would be looking for the rejection from this lower high or the VWAP, session VWAP. That's what I would be looking at, and it needs to reject from one of the two, and that's the that's the scenarios that could happen here if it does not roll from here. Okay, I prefer it from rolling down from here eventually. But just looking at other plans, I'm not going to go too crazy on, you know, attempting the shorts if the price pumps out here, right? This is why, even though I'm favoring the downtrend, I'm favoring that the move up is corrective, and I'm favoring that these lows could likely be claimed in the next coming hours. I'm not going to fight, you know, and getting into shorts everywhere, right? On the bounce, you either reject at specific levels, and if you get above them, at least I'm talking about, you know, my plan basically, my risk management. If the price rallies and smashes through the levels, you know, I'm not shorting. You know, I'm just not gonna bang my head against the table and, you know, add to short positions, because that's when you get wrecked, right? It needs to reject from either one of these pivots that I've explained, either anchored either the VWAP, session VWAP, or that lower high. If it doesn't, there's just no short, right? I mean, I ain't gonna go too crazy about the situation. I've been lagging here for a little bit, guys. Let me know if you can still hear me, if you can still see me, my legends. If you are interested in trading, guys, remember, bluffing. I've got a surprise for the people, okay, also, that sign up with the link in the description. I will say it on the 31st. I'm going to do a live stream on the 31st, legends, okay? So make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. My goodness, what's going on here with bluffing? Not loading also. If you sign up with the link down below, there is a bonus for all of those people. I will be leaving my Telegram personal DM, okay? So people can reach me out on the 31st, because we are launching a new product into 2026. So yeah, you know, you got the greatest bonus. You know, if you're not using bluffing already, make sure to do so. You just require an email and a password to sign up. You got great bonuses, great deals. Make sure to use the link down below. There is a special bonus for those who do so on the 31st, okay? So make sure to do that, okay? Link is down below, legends, okay? We're launching a new product, which is also going to be related to signals, okay? To setups. All smooth, Stafford one, much love, brother. Mr. Justin has arrived with his Porsche. Oh, where is he? There he is. KJS Trading. Thanks, Andy, for these long live streams. Love them. Much love to you, my man. Much love. Let's go. ¿Por qué zona de España vives? Well, I'm living in UAE now. I'm living in Dubai. So, but yeah. Palma de Mallorca. Andy is the man. Patience is a virtue. Yes. Vincent, much love to you, my man. Always liking you coming, joining the stream here. Absolute legend. Nice comments. Did I put a small short? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I got my doubts on this one. Got a little bit of doubts, but I'm liking you know, the bounce. This bounce mainly, I'm just concerned about the bounce extending a little bit longer. But this has a higher chance that it is a corrective bounce, just because this movement down got very, very close to this low, and for this to be a double 1-2, you know, it is not looking pretty, basically. And this would have to be another 1 and 2, and, you know, really rally from here. So the bullish scenario is not looking pretty here. The bullish scenario is not looking pretty. Is it possible? Absolutely. But it's not looking great. So, you know, I am favoring, if it does claim this high, I mean, the highs of today, if it does, I'll be getting stopped out, but I would be happy to re-enter again, because if it ends up rolling down to claim the lows here, and I'm only re-entering if it SFPs of either this high or the VWAP. And this would, I mean, the risk to reward is much better on those setups. Some people entered a short at the beginning of the stream already in this zone. People were like, I was talking about this SFP and people were like, yeah, screw that, I'm entering already. So I said, if we do get down to this zone, I will be shorting the bounce, which is currently what we're attempting, but we're not getting the rollover. We should be rolling over at this point. The longer it takes, eventually the less probability there is in actually rolling down and taking those highs. So it really needs to do that very, very soon. But you know, this is the thing, you know, if I were to get stopped out, I'm going to get a much better entry at higher levels. I understand that this could be the lower high and it takes out the lows at 86.6k. I understand that could happen. But if we do pump into this zone, this is a much better risk to reward instead of this one, which is stop loss here. It's a much better risk to reward. Stop loss here, looking for the lows to be claimed. It's a 2.5 to 1 risk to reward or so, right? Not massive. So, you know, I prefer these SFP scenarios because they can give you a much better risk to reward, right? Because what I want to see here, literally, either this lower high to be hit an SFP, right? And you know what I would be looking at is that rollover back down here. The risk to reward is much better. I mean, this pays off, you know, 5 times your stop loss if you're using the same percentage. This is why it's super important to use the same percentage, right? You can't go in and trade with 10% and then on the next trade you're going in with 5%, right? Or with 20%, right? You need to always use the same percentages for your setups as your stop loss. If I'm going to lose 2k on this position, right, I'm going to also risk 2k on a loss here. But then this would be, you know, potentially 6 to 7k profit, right? So I am paying off my previous stop loss. So you just need to use the same percentage, right? And this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with as well when they start trading, or they are trading, you know, for. It's still, you know, this happened to me even in my second year of trading. I was like really volatile on, I'm going to go in with a bigger position here on this trade because I'm feeling more confident, and with less on this trade. Always needs to be ranging in between 1 and 3% of capital. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can't, you know, you can't risk 5% on a trade and then 10% on another trade, right? And it's just, you're gonna have, it always needs to be the same percentage. Yeah, unfortunately this is not rolling down here. Would it be nice to already start rolling down from here? You know, I'm really losing a little bit of hope on this one if it does not roll over from here, because you know, ideally, if this would have been the top, okay, yeah, this is not looking that great, unfortunately, at the moment. So either going to decide on cutting losses here. The trade is literally almost at break even or at a slight loss. If this had to be the top of the correction in a simple ABC, okay, if this had to be the top of the correction in a simple ABC, ideally, if this is your impulsive move down and this is your correction, and this is going to be 1 2 1 2 and you roll over and that 3 4 5, you literally want the price to go now, right? Even 30 minutes ago would have been ideal to roll out down from here. When it starts dancing around so much, you're just losing time here. You can't have a wave 1 and a wave 2 that looks like this and then do 3 4, right? It's just, you know, the longer it takes, that it doesn't look as good, right? The longer it takes, the less beautiful it looks. So you can give it a little bit of more time from here, but not that much. right? And this explanation comes with the same scenario that we got with the weekend price action, right? Which is the best example, right? This is the best example that I could give you. This is why we did a live stream yesterday. If you have a big strong move to the downside, you know, and you're expecting this to be a corrective structure to break down and claim the lows, you know, you're getting the point wrong here, right? This is like this move down. Well, from this point, preferably, we were talking about, yeah, this could be a wave 4 and then you form a wave 5. That's all good. If that's the high, that's perfect. Yeah, you claim the low. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could stretch it to maybe this zone over here if it is going to be a WXY. You form a triangle here or whatever, and then move down. Yeah, that's still okay in the time zone. Twice the length of your wave 2. Yeah, okay. 3 times, you're stretching it already, but not 6 times. I mean, come on, this is no way. We talked about this yesterday. You know, if you believe that this could be part of this movement down, you know, you're highly mistaken. You know, this is like, guys, this could be a contracting diagonal. We form a 3-wave. You move up to the highs here, as explained yesterday. I'm not shorting this. You know, this is not nice for a short. So this basically is like a little bit of the same situation here when we take into consideration the 1 minute, 3 minute time frame. It's like, yeah, if this is a movement down, this is the top here of your correction. Just considering that this is your wave 1, your wave 2, your wave 3, your wave 4. If this is your wave 1 of your 5th wave, right, which you want a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, this is overextending as the correction from this movement down. You know, this is taking a little bit of a long time from the leg down that we got here from 88k. So it's all about realizing the probabilities and management, right? Now it's one of those that I want to consider, you know, cutting loss, break even, or lowering stop, because I understand that time is not in my favor at the moment. If this is a wave 1, this is a wave 2, you're forming 1, 2, 1, 2. You really want to start moving down here in the next coming, you know, 10, 15 minutes or so. The longer you start dancing around in this zone, the higher the probability is that you're going to just take out that high. So yeah, it's just not looking that great, unfortunately. The longer it takes, the less beautiful it looks. So it needs to go. It needs to go. You want the bears to come in. You want the big money to actually move the price lower. The longer it takes, the probabilities decrease. So we're still going to give it a chance. Let's take a look at CVD. Let's see if there's any very low volume, guys. I mean, it is the only big volume happens spontaneously. But yeah, with New York open, we haven't been getting much volume here. Yeah, ever so slight bullish CVDs here. Almost on the formation on a lot of the exchanges. So there are people shorting here. Yeah. Bit boring and a bit rangy, I have to say. Let's go through comment section legends. Much love to everybody. Staff One, Baby Genius, much love to you, brother. Andy Legends, I'm watching and wanted to say hello. I missed my TP on this. May break even, time shall tell. Baby Genius, much love. Stay safe. Great learning from live. Thank you, bro. You're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Andy, the main reason it's not rolling down is because we just had a bullish cross over 7-day moving average with the 30-day moving average on the 50-minute time frame. So expect a pump from here. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is only a local intraday scenario, right? This is only an intraday movement just to potentially sweep up the local lows. Okay, it's not that I'm expecting a major move down to 70k. But yeah, there's obviously a little bit of risk here. I just like the bounce, that it looks very corrective. And as this bounce looks very corrective, there's just a higher chance that we claim this low over here. Okay, it's a small day trade. It's coming down to the lows. We're actually talking about interesting long positions. Once we sweep up 86.3, maybe going to the mid 85k levels, which is only $2,000 away. You know, I know, you know, that's going to be interesting to look for longs. There's a lot of long liquidations down here, and you know, ideally we do sweep up those long liquidations, right? But as I said also, yesterday we left hundreds of millions of short liquidations above 90.5k, right? Look at this. You can't rely on liquidation, right? You can't rely. It's nice to see that you have a lot of liquidity down there, but we had all of that liquidity yesterday here as well. Doesn't mean anything, right? You got liquidity up and down. You will fetch that liquidity at some point. Market is ferocious. So yeah. Let's go through comment section. So it's only a little movement to claim the lows again, okay? Such a nice stream. Philip, much love, my man. Thanks for the kind words. First day with you, innocent traders. Much love, my man. Welcome. Huge liquidity ignored. Nitro, very true. I mean, yesterday we were just a couple of $100 to claim hundreds of millions of short liquidations, and the price did not want to hit that liquidity pocket above 90.5k. It didn't happen. So we got a bit of the same situation at the moment here, where there is hundreds of millions of long liquidations below 86.4k. Man, this range is tricking us, guys. This range is without a doubt tricking us. This is taking a bit of time here. Not liking it. Yeah, it is taking a little bit too long here to roll over from this leg down. I mean, I'm literally timing this movement down, and this bounce. If we were to get 1 2 1 2, or this being a zigzag up, another quick zigzag down here, and the triangle. But we literally cannot take out that last lower high. I don't want this lower high to be hit. This one right over here. If this lower high is hit, it's not going to be looking great for the rollover, guys. Yeah, this should have already started rolling down. And it just has to do with time, huh? And then the next zone would be this one over here. Anchored VWAP with this lower high is the one that I'm going to attempt. That's if I get stopped out, of course. Let's see. Bit boring, guys. You know, I have to say, it would have been nice to get just a nice continuation down. Problem here with the wave 4 speculations. Wave 4s are ones that you just, they are tricky. I'm not a fan of trading wave 4s, I have to say. But I just, you know, I like this bounce, very 3 wavy, especially with this movement down. You know, it's part of the strategy that I have. If I get a 3 wave move to the upside, you claim that low, and I get a bounce, you know, I'm happy to speculate on a lower high. You know, I'm happy to speculate on a lower high here. But when you've already had the big move down, and you have a possibility of a wave 4 and 5 here, which is, I'm not a fan of this being a wave 4 and there's a wave 5. But I have to say, it is possible. But the problem is the big move happened, right? And you don't want to long if the big move has happened on these possible corrections. If you do so, just have an acceptable stop wherever you want it, at your invalidation, golden pocket, or whatever. But you need to understand that the big move has happened, right? So it is attractive looking for longs without a doubt in this zone. I mean, at lower prices, I would not long this bounce, me personally, where we are at the moment. But yeah, I would have longs look more attractive, but I can say it seems like the market makers are going to be watching. I'm sure there's lots of limit longs and limit buys in this territory right over here below 86.3k. So, you know, will we get those lows being taken for the long position, right? It's just it's like people wanting to get into a short position here in the last 24 hours. I got so many people saying, I missed the short trade. I didn't short either, okay? But I missed the short trade because I was looking for this, you know, the SFP of literally 90.5k. Right, you're so close in hitting that high to get into the short. And it's just like getting a massive bounce here, relief, which I don't think is the scenario based on the local structure, guys. But just as an example, you know, you got this low here, and you're like, come on, you know, let me just sweep up that low, right? So we can get into a long, or sweep up this high, so we can get into a short, right? And so many people said that they missed. We got Paz Maria Vallejos that entered a short position at 90k region, absolutely great. We talked about this yesterday. I mean, this region for shorts was already looking interesting, but I mean, it wasn't easy. A big pump and then dump, just rolling over. And this is the issue. When you get the big move already, you just want to be aware of longing after the big move, right? This is why shorting here, I'm managing risk. I'm happy with the scenario. I like this bounce to likely be corrective. So it makes sense for me to believe that this low is going to be hit again. I'm happy with my risk management. I'm happy with the zones where I would be happy to re-enter only if we reject. That is adding the VWAP or adding that lower high here just before the big fair value gap. No business with a fair value gap. I don't like fair value gaps. I like the levels where we could reject. But this is a dangerous region unless you reject at certain points, which is the VWAP or the lower high, to get into the SFP so you can manage risk accordingly. You know, if we fly through these levels, I ain't going to be shorting, you know, the pump into this fair value gap, because I realized that we could pump much higher, eventually fill the entire gap. So, and this is like the problem with shorting here, as explained. It's like wanting to long after the big move happened, right? In this pullback. So it is, you need to manage risk. You need to know exactly where you're in validation. Whoever's longing here, this pullback irresponsibly, has had a very bad time this morning and maybe got extremely wrecked. I'm happy I got stop loss. I know how to enter. I'm worried about the people that are, you know, basically taking my basically, obviously no financial advice, but, you know, Andy said that we're going to take out this low with high probability. So I'm just going to be happy to look for shorts anyway in this zone and just, get into a big short position, which is eventually not how I teach the people how to trade. You need guidelines, you need stop losses, you need specific levels where the price needs to hit and reject, so we can have a fake out pivot where we can put our stop loss, right? So, and this is the danger about this movement down. The big, wanting to short here, you need to realize that the big move already happened. Right, the big move already happened. Just like shorting, just like longing after this big move. Right, the possible correction here. You're wanting to long a correction to claim the highs again, and the same scenario here. The big move already happened, and you want to short the bounce, believing that you're going to roll over to the downside. You just want to be a little bit aware that the big move already happened. So, I mean, this is why wave fours are challenging, of course, especially when we've been packed with 3-wave structures throughout the last, couple of weeks, guys. It's been a 3-wave environment. So, I'm liking this bounce that we got. Looks very corrective, very 3-wavy. I'm happy to attempt the short, but you just need to be aware that shorting the 4th waves is just not the greatest practice. I tell you what, if it is going to roll over, we'll just, you just add it to the trading position, basically add it to a winning trade. This movement down to the lows, but I would be far more interested if it ends up rolling down from here, that the probabilities in nuking down from here to 84k, right, 83k is low probability from this point. I'm talking about from this point, because this would highly likely be a 5th wave. This would highly likely be a 5th wave. So, naturally after a 5th wave, you are looking for a bounce. You are looking, and extension 5th waves are low probability. So, I would be looking for a long eventually. If we roll down from here, if we do roll down from here, I would be looking for that 5th wave SFP of 86.4. It might go down. We do have a daily level slightly lower at 85.4. It all depends on how that 5th wave develops here. But I'm very, very interested in long in here. If we roll down from where we are at the moment to claim the lows of today, I will be looking for longs naturally here. Just watching for the exhaustion and looking for the roll. And the main reason is because you have low probability in nuking down, because it will highly likely be a 5th wave. And after a 5th wave, you're looking for that bounce, and the bounce target, at least the first one, would be the lower highs here. So, I mean, I wouldn't be that interested in longing if we were to get a larger bounce in the next coming days between today and tomorrow. If we do extend this correction, then I know that this wave has been completed, potentially being the wave 1 and this a wave 2, right? Or a wave A and this a wave B, and then literally, this move down is much more aggressive, and we're all looking for that SFP, right, from the lows that we do have from last week, right? Just want to be aware, if we do extend a larger correction between today and tomorrow at this 88k region, The next move down could be a powerful move down, so we want to be a little bit cautious. So ideally, you know, with understanding the information that we have on the chart, ideally the best long would be rolling down from here. You know, that would be the ideal scenario. Hang on a second. Tradingview here is not playing ball here with me, and it's not man, I need to refresh everything, close some tabs. I got 1,000 tabs open, and the computer is really feeling it at the moment, so I need to start closing and saving some tabs. Right, I hope that is kind of a little bit clear. Ideally for that long position, it rolls over from here, but man, this is taking a little bit too long here at the moment. But yeah, that would be the high probability scenario. If we claim these lows from the current, if this is going to be the high, the lower high, and we claim the lows, longs are going to be looking very, very interesting. Only if this is the lower high, because then, you know, that's where I can fit the 5-wave move. And I'm very, very interested in the 5th wave bounce eventually. Only if this is the lower high. If the range extends in the next, between today and tomorrow, I'm not that interested in a quick SFP. Just realizing that this could be an A, B, C. You get a larger C wave, or a 1, 2, and then a wave 3 to the downside, which, you know, ends up breaking down pretty aggressively. So just let's see. I mean, let's see. It does look okay. Still, let's see if we push down already, get that movement down to the downside already. Come on, Bitcoin. Let's go. Let's go, Bitcoin. Push down already. Let's go through comment section, see what the people are saying here. I'm a little bit laggy, guys. Holy smokes. A little bit laggy. I need to shut down a few things here because, oh my goodness. Dump incoming, says Ash Wave. Yeah, well, let's see. Let's see. Let's see if we get the dump. Let's see. Triangle pattern, watch out. 5-minute chart again. Much love to you. QE is happening. Will take months to mature, but regardless, liquidity has flooded into commodities. Once that liquidity starts to return into the investors' hands, it could well rotate into crypto. Very much true. Very much true. Flying Man Dan. Absolutely. I like that. Dump incoming, says Ash. Staffer one, correct. Not sure what correct here. I guess he's pointing out to Flying Man Dan. Much love, Staffer one. Thanks for joining the stream here. As always, looks so triangly. Give it another 20-30. It should decide where it wants to go. Yeah, this local range. Damn. Ideally, we should have rolled over already at this point. Should have done. Yeah, as mentioned, I would not want to see the price hit this lower high right there, because yeah, that would literally invalidate kind of the local bearish case. If this high is taken at 87,750, I would not like the situation, and I'll probably cut the loss here, guys. Probably cut the loss. if we hit this lower high, I think there could be a good chance that we could hit these highs again. So I mean, cutting losses is also good. This is the thing about when you take a trade, and I know for a lot of people it's like, I ain't got time to to look at the charts all day, but I do realize when the probabilities decrease when you're in a trade, and the whole explanation about that is, as explained, if this is a three-wave move to the upside, you come down, right? And we're not going to form a larger corrective structure in a three-wave up, like double zigzag kind of situation where you have a zigzag correction and another zigzag up here. If this is your ABC and that's your first leg down to form a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is ideally what I want to look for. If this bounce over here, if we're taking such a long time here to literally roll over, there's two scenarios here. If this is the top of the bounce, what I'm looking at here is a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, and then roll over, right? That's the ideal scenario if this is going to be the high and this is the low. It's a 1, 2, and this really wants to start rolling down. Because if this has to be part of the correction of this movement down, this is going to be extremely long. If this is a wave 1 and this is a wave 2, this already is, I don't know how long, but it's over 5 times longer than this movement down. So ideally, this high is not taken. If you take out this high, then, it's unlikely that this is a part of the correction here. It's just going to be too long. So instead, I consider zigzag up, correction, and another zigzag to the upside here. So, and if this would have been a zigzag up in a wave W, very shallow, quick zigzag down, there is a triangle here that is kind of okay for that WXY. The same scenario here. You don't want that high to be taken. So for this, it would be WX and a Y in a triangle, because you do have a 5-wave structure here, A, B, C, D, E. If price takes out that high, I realize that there's a good chance that we're going to take out this high, because you're just wasting time. And if it doesn't roll over from this area, defending this lower high is important at 87,750. So if that high is taken, there's a good chance you're going to take that high, purely based on time. So yeah, let's see. Still a chance. Man, it's been boring, huh? We just literally got stuck here since we rejected and bounced on the stream. We got stuck, guys. So, man, it's been not even $200 of movements in the last 3 hours. Absolutely insane. What can we do? It is what it is. It's the end of the year as well. I think volume is low. Not many people trading. I think we haven't got massive volatility on the S&P 500 either. Yeah, not too much. End of the year, guys, I guess. We're just getting these spikes, ups and downs once they happen. Not much volatility, guys, today, unfortunately. Anyway, legends, remember that I got a product with Devolt. It's a new thing that we are getting into 2026. And I got a bonus for all of the people that do sign up with the link down below in the description. I will let you know on the 31st. I'll be leaving my Telegram on the 31st, so make sure to subscribe. It's going to be a something new, a new community, new traders, new coaches, new setups channel. It's going to be absolutely awesome. We've been building it for the last few months, and yeah, it's going to be launched in 2026, early 2026, okay, in January. And it's going to be much more active, much more setups. And we have spoken to a lot of the people that have joined different products that we have, because we are an educational channel at the end of the day. We don't feel it's right to provide our own setups, but I think that's what the people, the community want. People just want, tell me where the heck is the trade and when I can enter. And so we're listening to the people, what they want, and we're getting that product ready. But it's super important for you to sign up with the link down below. Get ready, guys, because on the 31st, I'll be leaving my personal Telegram channel, and we'll be getting you that bonus, of course, and giving you the dates of the new product, okay? So, yeah, sign up down below, first thing. And on the 31st, I will leave the Telegram down below, okay, so we can get in contact. Andy, sir, please, Ethereum. I got Ethereum ready, guys, but I'm going to leave it for tomorrow. I've got some few scenarios. It's mainly higher time frame. Ethereum follows Bitcoin. All of crypto follows Bitcoin. Well, 99% of crypto follows Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin is the king. Okay, but I have got Ethereum analysis. Okay, my man, and I will fit it in tomorrow, just because we've been a long time on the stream already, and I'm going to go through comment section. Let me know, guys, down below in the comment section. See you tomorrow. Just what cryptos I'm going to actually choose, because we're going to do the long live streams, and if we don't get much volatility, let me know, because tomorrow morning I do have Ethereum ready, which is mainly the daily and the 4 hourly. Nothing's going to happen. Let me know the cryptos. I'm going to put a poll here that you want me to take a look at on tomorrow's stream. And we'll just do the poll right now. What cryptos, and Ethereum is added already. What cryptos for tomorrow's stream to add? And I'm going to get the top 2 voters here. And I'm just going to say Solana, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that like Solana. Ethereum's already going to be in. BNB. Let me know, guys, in the comment section, any cryptos that you think are worth. XRP, let's put XRP. I'm sure there's a lot of XRP. There's a big XRP army here, I'm sure. Solana, BNB, XRP, and yeah, what else? HypeSec. Yeah, Solana is there. Zcash, which has been one that's been very trending in the last few months. Let me know, guys, and we're going to get the top 2 on tomorrow's stream. I'm going to do the analysis, do a bit of Elliott wave, get levels, possible projections and scenarios, and we'll add them up to the long live stream. If Bitcoin's going to be looking boring, which it has been doing so throughout the stream. Come on, get the dump already, Bitcoin. You know you want to dump. You want to dump from here. And maintain this internal downtrend. You got the 3-wave up. Come on, push down already from that low. You can do it. A little bit overextended for my taste here. It's like starting to get in doubt here if this is going to roll over. I still am, but let's see if it ends up pushing down here. I feel like taking that, $800 and running away. But we're going to remain patient. We got a chance here. Let's get that leg down. Come on. Anyway, let's go. I'm going to say XRP. Ooh, Solana 56%. Holy smokes. A lot of Solana lovers here. we're going to get Solana on tomorrow's stream, guys. That is for sure. And let's see who's going to be the second winner. I've got Ethereum. We're going to do long live stream tomorrow, guys, and we need to get in some cryptos, but I want to get ready on some analysis just because it's going to take time, and I don't want to flip-flop on this, that, the other, because I know a lot of people want the action. Just give me what you've analyzed this morning and just give it to me already. And I don't want to like do the analysis on the stream because I'm like doing my drawings, doing my this, Fibonacci, this yes, this no, and I want to save you time, guys. I'm going to do that in the morning, you know, in my morning routine with my coffee. And when I have a few things ready, then we can pull them out on the stream directly, right? So I don't want to do that now because it's just it's going to be boring for a lot of the viewers. Come on, breakdown. Let's go. Come on. It is looking better for the bearish scenario, really, because if this has to be something bullish, from this point with this movement down, correction, 3-wave up, boom, 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 too steep of a move down to consider a wave 2. It's looking better for the bears locally as explained, but it's just taking this move down to sort of start pushing down aggressively already. Let's see. It is the target is coming lower. It is coming lower for the target. I would say why TP, not TP here. It's just, nah. It's not worth it, at least for me. I want to make at least a couple of K here. Anyway, let's take a look at the votes here on stream. 20% XRP, so I think it's going to be XRP, guys. We've got over 100 votes. Make sure to get your votes in already, legends. Let's smash up the like button because I'm going to add, some cryptos on tomorrow's stream, which I will analyze in the morning. I've got Ethereum ready, guys, but let's pack it in on tomorrow's stream. I want to pack it in tomorrow's stream, okay? Better, because then we'll have Bitcoin. And then I can fit in Ethereum, Solana, BNB, and then XRP, and I'll timestamp it. Solana and XRP it is, guys. I think that those are the two winners, which we are going to add on tomorrow's stream. So, yeah. Do we get down, guys, on Bitcoin? Whoever entered the short here on the stream, very good entry. And the ones that are shorting on this bounce, like myself, we are looking for that rollover to claim the lows. Let's see if we do get it. So let's see. Would be nice to start rolling over aggressively. I do not want to see a movement up here. It kind of makes sense to be defensive on the trade here. Yeah, if I will probably consider accepting a tighter stop loss here. I don't want that lower high to be claimed because, I mean, as explained, when we take a look at the timing, if you claim this lower high, there is a chance here of that zigzag here to the upside to claim this, the highs of today. If this has to be a 3-wave end of a bounce and you're forming something bearish, which would be a wave 1, wave 2, and then you're obviously looking for 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? You end up breaking down. You don't want to claim these low highs if you do so, then eventually what I would be looking at is the zigzag correction and a zigzag. So yeah, that's the problem without a doubt. This zone, this would already be, based on the information that I have here, this would already be a decent invalidation, at least for me. So I would be happy to lower stop loss in this region, keep it a tight loss, just because, you know, as the information evolves, you understand what's in your favor and what's your what's your invalidation, basically. So it just doesn't make sense to have a stop loss if you have an entry in this region all the way up here if you're not rolling down already from this point. So, you know, just because of time, you know, this is extending too much. And I would not consider, if you take out this high, this to be part of this wave to the downside. You know, it's something different. Well, something different would be zigzag up, correction, and another zigzag up. Then, you know, this is what we're looking at. But no longer this this movement, part of this movement down, to get continuation down if these highs are taken. So if we either take out these lower highs, you know, it's just, for me, it's not worth being in that short position anymore. And it's money that I'm going to save that I know has high probability, right? It's like, really, you know, well, why aren't you being defensive based on the information that you have? If you think that we're going to hit this high, if we take out this high, right? It's like, you know, why don't you put your stop loss there? So that's the thing. If we do take out this high, I know the risks of taking out this high. So at this point, when we short here and stop loss here for the price to roll over in a 5-wave structure, at this point in time, as we extend, it's no longer interesting, if you shorted in this region, to still have a stop loss far away here, because, you know, if you take out these lower highs, you just have a good chance in taking out the highs here of today. So it's time to be defensive on this trade setup. It's time to be a bit defensive. I'm happy with you know, cutting loss here. If we take those lower highs, it needs to roll over, it needs to form lower highs here. If we take out these highs, we're likely going to take out these ones. Then, depending on how we react here, you know, we'll be looking for that short trade, either SFP from this high or failed breakout here from the anchored VWAP, or not anchored VWAP, session VWAP, sorry. It's important to reject from one of those levels so I can get into the short. So we'll see. That's if we do. I'm still in favor of rolling over here, guys. I'm just making you understand what would be the plan here. And for longs, I would only be interested if we claim the lows, guys. You know, I'm not interested in any longs here personally. If we do pump from here, it's a missed long position for me. Okay, so it seems like Solana and XRP it is, guys, for tomorrow's stream. Thank you very much for those votes. Solana and XRP are the ones I'm going to be adding. Smash up the like button, legends, as we continue here on the stream. XRP and Solana just follow BTC. That's what I try to explain. This is why we mainly focus on ZEC. Is interesting. Yeah, ZEC is interesting because it's had its own life throughout the last few months, pumping very aggressively. Thanks for the tip, Crypto YD. Much love to you. I moved my stop loss to minimum. Not sure what that is. Merdi ZD. Much love to you. Nasdaq looks like it's making its way down to December 19th, 21. Let's take a look at Nasdaq here. 1 second. Let me get the chart ready on the Nasdaq. See what's cooking here on Nasdaq. what's going on with the Nasdaq. Bitcoin, we're looking for the lows of today to be hit. But Nasdaq ended up rolling down after the New York Open. It did end up rolling down, but testing local. Yeah, I mean, nothing too major here. Not that it's a massive move. Just a pump and dump on the Nasdaq. Same with S&P 500. Bitcoin not wanting to roll over. Very boring, guys. Very, very boring. Man, we're expecting a little bit of movements, but the movements are happening outside of New York Open, guys. We're going to have to probably change the schedule here for the streams. The volatility happened very early this morning or late last night, depending on where you are. Generous people of the planet Earth, for no reason at all, just give me exactly as much as you want. Oh, hey, we're not here to Is it the head and shoulders on the 5-minute time frame? Volume already spent this morning. Yes, very true. Volume already spent this morning. Yeah, unfortunately we had the volatility this morning. Whoever entered a short at the 90k region, congratulations. Yesterday we just let the people aware about this wedge, guys. You see, right? Some people saying I'm entering shorts here. I'm entering shorts. I would rather miss this short. Hopefully some people were defensive, entered shorts at the highs. The problem of entering the breakdown on shorts here is, you're not managing risk very, very well. Stop loss at the highs kind of thing, breakout of the wedge. This is why we do the education as well on the streams, guys, and we talk about why this movement was very likely completely independent from this movement to the downside based on time. This is why new information is important. I'm happy with the rollover from here, but if we're gonna still continue ranging here for the next hour in this zone, it's probably gonna pump. So I need to be defensive. It either comes up, gets the bounce, I enter, and it rolls over. If you're gonna dance around here for a few hours, I realize that we're forming something else. It's independent, and a double zigzag would be a scenario that is very possible here. So we keep it educational. We this is why we explained here yesterday, guys. A lot of people were there was a few comments that I read yesterday about this being a bear flag, this being a wedge, this rolling over, breaking down eventually, which is obviously a natural instinct that you would have looking at this, and it still could have happened, but just being aware that it's likely an individual wave. This is no longer part of this, either in a 1 2 3 4 5 or whatever. The double zigzag here was possible. Zigzag, wave X, and then another zigzag down was possible, but we were so aware here of either multiple 1-2s and then pump, or a contracting diagonal correction and then move up. And this is why, I just did not wanted to participate in doing anything here. There's too many scenarios, bullish and bearish, which are not interesting. Bitcoin. Doesn't want to move down. Doesn't want to move down. Let's take a look at order flow. Boom, very low volume on Bybit, man. Not even 1 million in volume coming in the last few hours. Ooh, very, very, very stuck volume. Look at this on the CVD. This is literally people not trading Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's end of the year, guys, as well. We cannot expect much volatility on New York Open. Nasdaq literally got a pump and dump. No major big moves. But anyway, we're gonna be. I entered eGold. More volatility on a Sunday night than middle of the trading day. Exactly. Yeah, we got that volatility late last night or early this morning, if you wish. Yeah, Sunday night or early this morning. Yeah, I mean, the volatility happened this morning. So what can we say? What can we say with this drop? Much love to everybody. Thanks for joining the stream today. Remember that you got a great bonus for the people that sign up with the link down below in the description. I'll be leaving the Telegram on the 31st. We are launching a new product. The people that sign up with the link in the description are going to be getting a bonus. I'll be leaving the Telegram for the DMs on the 31st. Okay. Just want to hype up a little bit of this new product that I've been building for the last few months with Devolt. Which obviously includes setups. We got some new coaches and some new scenarios. A nice product that we're launching in 2026, and obviously we want to give priority for the people that are signing up with the links in the description. Okay, such as Bluffing, guys. Bluffing is, if you're not already signed up, if you signed up with a link already through my affiliate, then you are obviously getting the bonus regardless. But if you haven't already, make sure to do so, and I'll be letting you know more about it on the 31st. BTC like a dog, just won't dump when you want it. Yes. Very, very true. Very true. Some people did manage to enter the short. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to take profits on this dump down. You know, for me, it's either you move down to the lows, or I'll enter a short later on, depending on the reaction here or here, if I'm awake, of course. But for me, it's not worth. I'm not here to take that $1,000 that I had in profit here. It's just not. I'd rather get stopped out at a minor loss. I'm going to give it a chance for a lower high, but this is an okay risk management trade for me. I'm not going to take the $1,000. We had to come down to the lows for me for a decent day trade. But yeah, it looks like it wants to pump, guys. Not rolling over from here. And yeah, I don't like this lower high. If this lower high is hit, I think it's not going to be any longer part of this wave. This would be very, very long, so I would be in favor potentially of a zigzag up. Even though, taking it at Fibonacci from here to here, yeah, not even a flat here, so yeah, if I'm not liking, if we do take out this high, there's a good chance we're going to take out this high, so it's a moment to be defensive. This is unlikely going to be a 3-wave corrective structure from this wave down, just because it's already going to be 5 times or even 6 times longer from this movement to the downside. Yeah, over 5 times longer. So I think there's a good chance if you take out these lower highs, you're going to take out these highs. So yep, not working out. Didn't want to roll over, guys. What can we do? There's obviously those risks of, you know, the big move happened already. After this big movement down, you already got an extra leg down, so you're really looking for more downside when we've already got a pretty significant move down already this morning, right? So it's like getting into a larger range here, or bounce, you know, also makes sense. Just because we got the move down today, right? And there's no real direction on the trend when we zoom out on Bitcoin, right? It's just extremely rangy, and we could not expect a major dump down or a major pump up here. It's just there's no direction, and it's just If you get this little leg down of a few $1,000s today already, you know, we just cannot expect any direction for the moment. But it was not a bad attempt. It was not a bad attempt, let's say. It was an acceptable attempt. It just didn't want to go. So yeah, as explained, not liking this. It's taken too long. Probably going to take out that high, then this high over here. So happy to get stopped with a minor loss here. If it doesn't want to go, it doesn't want to go, guys. What can we say? XRP doesn't need hype. The structure is there. Werner, much love to you, my man. The patience is there. These phases are always boring before they become legendary. The ones who understand are still here. Stop loss going to be hit because yeah, doesn't matter. It's okay. It's a good risk. I mean, the risk to reward was good. Risk to reward is good. It's fine. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. But yeah, we've been some pretty epic trades in the last week. I got this one, which was taken on the live stream on last Friday. And I had a tight stop loss here. I wasn't liking this. But the overall, I would have preferred this low to be taken, but I took profits in this bounce throughout the weekend, as explained. When you're extending so long, I was short in this area, guys, on last Friday. On stream, and the plan was here. And I could have got stopped out twice here. It doesn't matter. I didn't get stopped out, but entered into this zone because the overall game plan here was look for, you know, SFP and look for some kind of a corrective bounce in this region after this being possibly an impulse, and either look for this and this, or either look for, you know, a rollover. The game plan was to claim this low, which never happened. Just like today, claiming this low, you know, is never happening at the moment. So it's like teasing, right? It's a very, very teasy range for Bitcoin in the last week. But it was still a good short. And the plan here throughout last Friday was, okay, yes, we can backtest this level. I like this to be a 3-wave structure. However, we got the drop, and this was taking a little bit long to roll over. So for me on the stream, it was like, we need to roll over from here, guys, because if we do not, I don't want to have a stop loss too far away. I had a shallow stop loss. So the idea here was, if I get stopped out, I'm looking for an SFP. So there was 2 game plans here. And, you know, it's okay to get stopped out here. You know, the risk to reward is going to be great. Risk to reward is going to be great. It wasn't as great in the end because I ended up taking profits, most of the profits on Saturday. But you can get stopped out once or twice. It doesn't matter. You know, when you get the good trade, and maybe after the stream, the good trade happens where I'm still interested in, you know, if we do claim this lower high right over here, which we are going to do so by the looks of things now in the next coming minutes, the next trading zone, if the price does form a lower high in this area and rolls over, for me it's not a short trade. You know, for me I don't have a shorting entry here based on the waves, 3 waves up, down. I would really want to see a zigzag up, like a double zigzag, to claim the highs here. And then either VWAP or either this lower high is going to be the entry point. And, you know, I would, you know, literally, this would be the idea. Either VWAP rejection or that lower high. And stop loss looks like this. And the risk to reward, I would then seriously target the lows. So, I mean, this risk to reward is 5 to 1. So you can afford these stop losses, right? I can afford them, thankfully, because I know how to manage risk. I'm just super worried because my first 2 years of trading, guys, I had no risk management at all. I was like, I'm going to enter this trade with 5% of my capital. And the next trade, if I lose this one, I'm entering with 10%, right? You really don't care about, no structure, no plan, no strategy, no risk management. You need to risk always the same percentage of your trades, guys. There's no more to it. Or even decrease, right? I'm happy to lose $2,000 on this short, but I'm decreasing risk at the moment, realizing the probabilities that if these lower highs are taken, right, I'm happy to lose 2K with stop loss here. That's fine. That's 1% approximately, just a little less. But now $400 is 0.25%, just because I don't like it. If we didn't roll over, cutting losses, and then get to the next trade, and the next trade will make 2-3K profits, right? Regardless, will it be tomorrow? Will it be later on today? Don't know, right? Maybe it's gonna be this lower high that does decide to reject, or the VWAP. These are two pivots that I know have possibility of rejection. If we don't reject, no trade. If we do reject, at the zone, then I'm interested in getting into the short. And I realize my risk management, and I realize the projection is coming down to this low, which is looking very interesting because we moved up in a very, very three-wavy structure here that has low probability to have a wave 3 here, right, and break out. So I realize that this has low probability, so I'm interested at certain pivots to get the rejection. But if we don't reject, I'm not going to be the guy that's adding to shorts on the pump. Forget about that. There's no way. If I do that, I'm going to lose. So I need to have a plan. I need some pivots for rejection. I realize that there's a good probability that we take out this low. So shorts are looking very, very nice with this bounce. So the higher we go, perfect, the better risk to reward I'm going to get at certain specific levels of guidance. I don't know, guys. I hope that it makes sense. Cheeky right there if we don't claim that. Almost going to get, all got stopped out from that. Just wicked. But yeah, we literally not on Bybit, but we did on Bluffin by the looks of things. I mean, that would be cheeky if you do form a lower high right there. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Yeah, there's no good high probability that this is a motive wave and an expanding diagonal. Low probability. Yeah, not looking too great. I would rather wait for the next zone of interest here, guys. If it were to roll over from here, then I'll have to accept it. Legends, much love to everybody. Next hour candle, I think, might dump. Next hour. Andy, the moving average bull crossover worked out, and the next dump will happen at 87.9k. 87.9k. Still very, very rangy. Yeah, I think this is a good area. This is a good area that I like for the short, as explained. Legends, thank you very much for joining. How do you get the blue line? That is the VWAP, okay? That is the VWAP. This blue line is the VWAP. You can get it on indicators right over here. Okay, on the top, on indicators on Tradingview. It's the VWAP. Take care, legends. I did not enter Can you check ZEC? We're going to add ZEC tomorrow, or no, XRP and Solana. Much love to everybody. Bro, can you check for ADA coin, please? We'll take a look at some altcoins tomorrow. Liquidity, a lot of liquidity at 91k. We did not reach it. Wave 2 in 1 hour forming currently. Wave 2 on the 1 hourly forming. Yeah, I mean, I have to say that there's a very good chance. Okay, the move up looks very corrective, 3 wavy. It's true that the bounce could extend here for a little longer between today and tomorrow. Still, if I'm awake, I'm interested in the short, either at the VWAP or either that lower high pivot at 88.1k, right? Which is the yeah, that lower high, that little dead cat bounce, basically the low of the fair value gap. So I need to remain patient. If I'm awake and we hit that level and we reject, I will enter the short. If not, I won't. So yeah, much love to everybody. Make sure to create your plans, have very good risk management. Thank you for joining. Make sure to sign up with a link down below, guys, because we do have a great bonus coming, a great product coming into 2026. And for all of those people that sign up, you know, they will be getting that bonus, of course. Okay, this will be mentioned on the 31st of December, sorry, the last day of the year. So check out that. You need to sign up with the first link down below. Bluffin is one of my favorite exchanges. Okay, that's where I do mainly my trading. Much love to everybody, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. We're doing some altcoins tomorrow. Thank you for joining. Short didn't work out, guys, but this is, you know, this is part of trading. Obviously being defensive is part of the game, and you've seen how if we claim these lower highs, I'm already not liking this short. So, you know, want to be defensive on that scenario and move to the next one. Legends, thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.